Earth football, Cristiano Ronaldo thought I would go assist him. Hello again, dear adventurers of the multiverse. Thanks for joining us once more on this epic journey. Remember, this story is pure science fiction from our wild imagination. So don't go trying to summon dragons in your backyard. The rights of this amazing novel belong entirely to its original author. We are only the narrators. Do you want more adventures? Show some love to our YouTube channel with a subscription and a like. And if you want exclusive content, our Patreon is waiting for you with open arms. Chapter 126 The Four Heroes of Lisbon. Quaresma scored directly from a free kick, giving his team a 1-0 lead over Switzerland. Great pass, excellent tackle. Quaresma praised Duncan and Ronaldo during his celebration. As the leader of the Sporting Lisbon group, Quaresma was still trying to be a good leader. The rest of the match almost became a one-man show for Quaresma. Viana had performed well in the previous round, but in this match, they were targeted by the Swiss team's defense. Duncan, on the other hand, became the winger who controlled the ball more. Duncan continuously fed Quaresma the ball, helped him stretch the defense, and switched positions with Quaresma to move wide. Quaresma frequently created scoring opportunities. In the 32nd minute, the Swiss team attempted a counter-attack, but under Duncan's aggressive pressing, the opponent lost their pass. The ball was easily intercepted by Meireles. Meireles sent a long pass into the penalty area. Postiga outjumped the Swiss centre-back and headed the ball back to the right side of the penalty area. Quaresma cut inside without the ball and then unleashed a classic outside-of-the-foot shot. The ball arced wildly towards the far corner. But the Swiss team had good fortune, the post blocked the shot, and the ball bounced to the left side of the penalty area. Cristiano Ronaldo, equally eager to cut inside, met the rebound with a shot. Although Postiga also had a chance, Ronaldo completely ignored the future Premier League flop. Postiga shrugged, seemingly wanting to complain, but the ball went in. Ronaldo scored from a tight angle. Postiga immediately raised his outstretched hands, celebrating with Ronaldo. He was certainly unhappy, but who cares about goals in football? Portugal U16 extended their lead, 2-0. This score remained until halftime. During halftime, Quaresma, unusually interested, discussed the details of positional runs with Deng Kai. Their team had frequent combinations in the first half, with flashes of brilliance and moments of error, requiring further refinement. At the start of the second half, the Swiss team launched a pressing attack. But Violante anticipated all of this. Portugal adopted a possession-based strategy. Quaresma and Postiga frequently dropped back, the latter possessing the ability to hold up play. Quaresma's dribbling and ball control were superb, greatly enhancing Portugal's midfield possession. Switzerland pressed forward for 10 minutes, their possession actually decreasing slightly. In the 55th minute, Viana capitalized on the Swiss players' fatigue after their frantic run, repeatedly dribbling through the middle. Ronaldo played a 1-2, helping Viana get past one defender. Viana unleashed a shot from the left edge of the penalty area. This attack was extremely dangerous. However, the Swiss goalkeeper, always capable of surprises, saved Viana's long-range shot. Viana, Postiga, and Quaresma immediately surged into the penalty area to contest for the ball. The ball was cleared out of the penalty area by the Swiss centre-back, but the clearance was slightly mis-hit, the ball was slow and landed near Duncan outside the box. Duncan drew his bow and unleashed a powerful volley. With the combined influence of the Black Panther hunter, the mediocre winger, and the championship predator, they unleashed a beautiful world-class goal. The Swiss goalkeeper made another miraculous save. He anticipated the direction correctly, but the ball slightly deflected as it flew towards him. Swish! The ball entered the goal. 3-0. Before Deng Kai could react, Quaresma ran from the penalty area to celebrate with him, rubbing his buttocks as he ran. Slow motion replay. Deng Kai's shot hit Quaresma's buttocks. Otherwise, it might have been saved by the Swiss goalkeeper. So this was an assist from Deng Kai, not a goal. Quaresma passively completed his brace with his buttocks. It was at this moment that Quaresma liked playing with Deng Kai even more. Not only was he technically good and had high football intelligence, but he was also willing to help out. The key was that Quaresma considered Deng Kai his lucky star. This was enough to give him a goal. He was practically Sporting Lisbon's most affectionate player. In the 71st minute, the Swiss team made a substitution, replacing a midfielder with a striker, attempting a final desperate attempt. This almost completely freed up Viana. As an attacking midfielder with a higher priority than Deng Kai, Viana's performance absolutely justified his treatment. After dribbling and drawing attention, he switched the ball to Quaresma, who was unmarked on the right wing. Quaresma, seeing that Postiga and Ronaldo were well positioned in the penalty area, stopped showing off and delivered a beautiful cross to his teammates. It was a perfect cross. Postiga, seeing the trajectory of the ball, knew it wasn't for him, so he feinted at the near post, jumped with the Swiss centre-back, and missed the ball. Ronaldo suddenly surged forward at the far post and headed the ball towards the goal. But unfortunately, his head was too straight. The ball hit the Swiss goalkeeper's leg. Chaos erupted in front of the goal. It's unclear who cleared the ball. Deng Kai, in almost the same position, met the rolling ball with a long-range shot. He was completely left wide open today. Switzerland couldn't even keep an eye on an important player like Viana, so naturally they had no energy to look after a minor player like Deng Kai. The ball hit a Swiss defender and bounced out of bounds. Deng Kai immediately raised his hand to signal for the ball to go out of bounds. Handball. Deng Kai's indicating a handball. Oh. It really was a handball. The referee saw it clearly. He pointed to the penalty spot. Penalty. Switzerland is in deep trouble. Quaresma is so lucky today, he gave Deng Kai a big hug. Deng Kai gave him the chance to complete his hat-trick. Goal. 4-0. Portugal continues the glorious tradition of their golden generation. They are simply unstoppable in European youth competitions. Quaresma's hat-trick. I bet it's the easiest hat-trick of his career. Ronaldo gave him a free kick, Deng Kai gave him a passive backstab, and then the penalty. The CD connection completely sponsored the veteran today. Quaresma has to treat them to a big meal. Sporting Lisbon's youth academy is terrifying. They've created almost all of their goals so far. And nearly half of the scoring opportunities were created by Viana, who is also a Sporting Lisbon Youth Academy player. Just imagine the four of them together in Sporting Lisbon's first team in the future. It's a youth storm. I bet that, barring any unforeseen circumstances, all four of them will be playing in the Portuguese league within the next 3 to 5 years. This is simply a huge windfall. Sporting Lisbon has hit the jackpot. The combined transfer fees for these four could easily reach over 30 to 40 million euros. Quaresma, having just scored his first hat-trick for the national youth team, was overjoyed. The four Sporting Lisbon stars embraced, and other players joined in the celebration, creating a harmonious atmosphere. There might be competition among them, but winning solves everything. Chapter 127 Player Skill Power Bank. In the 79th minute, Portugal, overconfident and relentlessly attacking, unfortunately slipped up and conceded a goal to Switzerland on the counter-attack. The Swiss players didn't bother with a fancy attempt to retrieve the ball from the net. 10 minutes remained. 3 goals were out of reach. They couldn't catch up. It proved wise. If they had tried to save time by retrieving the ball, they might have conceded even more. In the 83rd minute, Duncan, who habitually switched positions with Quaresma on the right, suddenly played a through ball forward. The ball sailed past the centre-back on the right. Portugal's left attacking midfielder, Viana, accelerated forward, breaking past the Swiss centre-back on the left to create a one-on-one opportunity, and skillfully slotted the ball into the net. 5-1. Portugal secured a resounding victory, forcing neutral Switzerland to abandon their composure. Quaresma was named man of the match, redeeming himself in the eyes of some first-team stars. Viana contributed a goal and an assist, proving himself a worthy midfield maestro. Duncan's brace was Portugal's biggest surprise. Cristiano Ronaldo scored his first goal for the U20 national team, marking the beginning of his legendary international career. After the match, a reporter asked Quaresma about the reason for his explosive performance. Quaresma praised Deng Kai without reservation. Playing with Deng Kai is very comfortable. He creates an environment full of opportunities for me. I know some media outlets previously thought he should be dropped, but in my opinion, this formation is the true home for Portugal U16. We have the best forwards and midfielders in this European U16 tournament, and not just one. We should certainly maximize the abilities of these excellent players. My goal today had an element of luck, but I like the feeling. I also believe that Lady Luck favored me because I was there at the time, which is also a testament to ability. Reporter, what's your assessment of Simeo's transfer? Do you think you can fill Simeo's place at Sporting Lisbon? Quaresma, Simeo is my senior, and we have a good relationship. I'm happy for him that he transferred to Barcelona because that's the team he wanted to be. His transfer fee was close to Figo's, making him Sporting Lisbon's second most expensive player in recent years. This is an honor for him, and also an honor for Sporting Lisbon. As for myself, I'm very excited to have my first season in the Portuguese league. I also believe I can play well. Rather than just filling in the gaps, I hope I can play my own style, not just copy or reproduce. Quaresma answered well. But he was still a bit naive. Because the reporter's real purpose, besides trying to provoke Quaresma into saying he would surpass Simeo, was to dig a pit. Reporter: oh, I see. But Duncan said that most stars who actively request transfers to Barcelona don't have good endings. Can we see this as his curse on Simeo? Quaresma was dumbfounded. You can interpret it like that? This is completely unrelated. No, that's not it. Quaresma tried to explain, but the reporter had already excitedly walked away. That evening, some media outlets published related news. Quaresma believes he can do more than Simeo. Duncan curses Simeo with a bad ending at Barcelona. This statement enraged Barcelona fans. Who dares to curse our newly acquired player? Upon seeing the name Deng Kai, Barcelona fans were relieved. So it was this hater. Barcelona fans have always disliked this short guy because he's one of the few who dared to refuse La Masia Film Academy. Deng Kai's a despicable person, so it's normal for him to say things like that. I have no doubt Deng Kai would say something like that. No Spanish fan would like this guy. He even curses his own predecessor. He deserves to be short. This kind of shorty only deserves to play football at the Bernabeu. He'll never have the chance to set foot in Camp Nou. He just stepped into Camp Nou a few days ago, watching a game and lifting the Champions League trophy. Camp Nou doesn't welcome dwarfs. He's just jealous of Simeo's transfer fee. Simeo transferred to Barcelona for €20 million and will become the next Figo. That's a peak that a player like Deng Kai can never reach. Not just him, he and that Ronaldo are both bad people. I could tell at a glance, my judgment is the best. They are completely incomparable to their predecessor, Figo. How did Portugal produce these two traitors? Can't they learn from Figo and remain loyal to Barcelona forever? After playing in the second round of the European Under-16 Championship, Spanish midfield maestro Andres Iniesta was far from happy, seeing the comments from his Barcelona fans in the media. Because, according to the latest information, Duncan had quietly grown from 1.41 meters to 1.53 meters in the past year. He had clearly experienced a growth spurt. And he was now almost as tall as Iniesta. Barcelona fans were saying he was too short to play at Camp Nou, and while they meant no harm, they took it to heart, leaving Iniesta somewhat frustrated. In response to some media's inaccurate reports, Duncan offered an explanation through the Echo. The article read, Duncan has never disrespected Simeo and considers him a role model for all Sporting Lisbon's young players. The article also stated, Duncan, some media always like to take things out of context. I have called Figo and asked him to clarify things for me and Simeo. Sure enough, Figo, true to his Portuguese seniority, gave an interview before the third round of the European Under-16 Championship, addressing the matter. Figo, I'm very happy that Simeo transferred to Barcelona. His skills can shine here. The €20 million transfer fee is proof of his ability, and he deserves it all. I've been watching the UEFA Youth League, and I'm following the development of D'Amico and Cristiano Ronaldo. In fact, I watched their UEFA Youth League final too. I keep in good contact with D'Amico. He occasionally asks me questions, like if I could send him some autographed footballs. He's a huge fan of mine. And I'll send him some equipment I don't need when I have time. I almost know his address by heart. He's not an arrogant person, he knows when to be confident and when to be humble. His words were misinterpreted by the media. I've explained it to Simeo, and Simeo said he won't be swayed by the media. I wish D'Amico the best of luck in achieving his desired results in this UEFA Youth League. The Portuguese superstar intervened. Even the biggest issues had to be suppressed. With their captain speaking, Barcelona fans stopped arguing. But they still found it difficult to like D'Amico. Ling. You have won a match, with an S rating. You have obtained a blue fragment. Ling. You have consumed 20 blue fragments and obtained a player skill power bank. Power bank, immediately gain 10% stamina after 85 minutes of match time. And the subsequent stamina recovery speed is increased by 100%. YYDS. Deng Kai was shocked when he saw the post-match rewards. This is absolutely amazing. This power bank is simply a divine skill. Are you sure this is just a blue player skill? I'd believe you if you said it was a gold legendary skill. What does 85 minutes mean? Most players in the midfield and forward positions will have stamina bars below 8%. Many will even be below 5%. In an intense match, it can be below 3%. However, the power bank can directly give Deng Kai 10% stamina. For genius players, the closer the match gets to the end, the more they prove themselves. With a power bank, Deng Kai will have godlike stamina in the last 8 minutes of the match. And his subsequent recovery ability will be godlike if the game goes into overtime. After all, Deng Kai's physical recovery is naturally better than average, and with his power bank, referring to his ability to recover quickly, he's practically a perpetual motion machine. Not tall, not white, midfielder, excellent stamina, this, a Chinese-American Kant? Deng Kai felt a pang of sadness at his new role model. It wasn't that Kant wasn't good enough, it was mainly because of Hispanile. Chapter 128 Blitzkrieg Poland. On the eve of the third round of the UEFA European Under-16 Championship group stage, Jerzy Dudek, Poland's hottest goalkeeper this year, expressed his optimism about the Polish U16 team. He plays for Dutch Eredivisie club Feyenoord and won the Eredivisie Best Goalkeeper award for the first time this season. It is reported that several Premier League giants, including Liverpool, Manchester United, and Arsenal, are interested in him. Dudek said, "The third round is the last match of the group stage, and Poland still has a chance to advance. The Czech Republic's attack is weak, and they will have a hard time taking all 3 points against Switzerland. If Poland beats Portugal, we can advance as group winners." When asked about his opinion on the Portuguese players, Dudek said, "In my opinion, the best striker in this age group is only Robin van Persie. I've trained with him, and I even think that in less than 3 years, Van Persie will be a starter at Feyenoord. Van Persie told me that Duncan is someone to be wary of. He doesn't look strong, but he can always change the course of a game." Cristiano Ronaldo, Portugal's rising star, was very unhappy with this interview. "We both played in the UEFA Youth League, so why does Van Persie only remember that Deng Kai was dangerous? What about me, Ronaldo? How dare you disregard me?" Ronaldo was so angry that he practiced shooting for an hour straight. Bruno Vieira, who was training with him, was in great pain and begged Pilar to take his place. Pilar cruelly refused. "That's it? Now you know the pain I endured at Sporting Lisbon U15, right?" The Princess Diaries crew. Many people in the crew knew about Hathaway's relationship scandal. Due to the severe overtime caused by this incident, the crew would be given a break soon for everyone's mental health. Everyone was discussing what to do. Someone wanted to curry favor with Hathaway and asked you if she would watch the UEFA Youth League match on the 17th. They even said this match was crucial, determining who would advance from the group stage. Czech Republic, Switzerland, Poland, and... Before they could finish speaking, Hathaway said she wanted to stay on set to continue honing her acting skills. With a female lead speaking up, and the director's assertiveness, those who had been asking for a break had no choice but to give up. They decided to postpone their vacation until after filming their next scene. June 17th. The third round of the UEFA U16 Championship kicked off. Because it involved qualifying spots, all 4 teams in Portugal's group played simultaneously to avoid any behind-the-scenes manipulation. Polish football has always emphasized defense. Their counter-attacks are very threatening, and they excel at crossing from the wings. Although their style is simple, in a national team environment where players are unfamiliar with each other and lack understanding, simple tactics are often more effective. Less than 5 minutes into the game, Portugal established possession and dominance through the individual abilities of their star players. Compared to Poland, Portugal could already be described as playing artistic football. In the 9th minute, Quaresma's shot went wide. In the 12th minute, Poland launched a counter-attack, but the ball was cleared by Font, failing to create a real threat. In the 16th minute, Postiga dropped back, and Viana passed the ball before making a run forward. As Postiga received the ball with his back to goal, he was tackled from behind by a Polish player. The opponent tried to poke the ball away, but instead poked Postiga's right Achilles tendon. Postiga fell to the ground immediately. After examining him, the team doctor signaled to Viana to substitute. Postiga was injured and had to leave the field. Portugal lost their starting center forward. Postiga's junior, Almeida, came on as a substitute. Almeida was taller, but his footwork was a level below Postaga's, and his hold-up play was inferior. Less than a minute after coming on, Almeida made a mistake. In a cross-run and passing game with Quaresma, he successfully passed a ball to the opposing center-back. The Polish center-back immediately launched a counter-attack with a long ball. 20 seconds later, the Polish fans in the stands cheered. Poland had successfully blitzed Portugal, 1-0. Portuguese goalkeeper Bruno Leva looked frustrated. The opponent's shots were of poor quality. But the pitch was in poor condition, with many potholes and bumps. To the naked eye, it looked fine, but the ball bounced irregularly as it rolled. He narrowly missed a ball because of this. This was a serious mistake on his part. After the goal, the Polish team completely retreated, building an impenetrable wall in their penalty area. Their 1-1-0-0 formation was truly formidable. Coupled with their aggressive defensive play, Portugal's attack struggled to create any real threat for a time. In the 32nd minute, Quaresma and Deng Kai combined. Deng Kai moved forward, while Quaresma dribbled back, creating vertical space. However, the experienced Polish midfielders followed Quaresma closely, marking him closely and denying him any space to turn and pass. Ultimately, Quaresma was fouled. The referee awarded Portugal a free kick. Due to the distance, Portugal took a tactical free kick. The ball flew into the penalty area. Ronaldo's run was blocked, and he missed the ball. Almeida was pressured by the Polish players and didn't jump much, but he almost headed the ball. The ball flew out of bounds. In the 39th minute, Deng Kai dropped back to midfield and passed to Viana. Right back Bosingwa made a run forward. Viana switched the ball to Bosingwa. Quaresma cut inside, drawing away defenders. His defensive priority was highest. Bosingwa gained space and crossed a ball. Almeida engaged in a fierce battle with the Polish center-back in the penalty area, ultimately winning the header. However, the header went wide, a very poor shot. In the 44th minute, Portugal managed a rare ground passing move. Viana showcased his ball control, using his individual skill to draw attention before playing a through ball to the left side of the penalty area. Ronaldo accelerated to catch the ball and attempted to dribble past the opposing center-back, but fell in the penalty area during the exchange. The Portuguese players raised their hands, indicating a foul. The commentators excitedly suggested it might be a penalty. However, to everyone's astonishment, the referee did not award a penalty, but instead showed Ronaldo a yellow card. He believed Ronaldo was diving to draw a penalty. Ronaldo was trembling with anger, his body drenched in cold sweat despite the sweltering heat. He was certain there was contact between the opponent's leg and his. Ever since being defeated by Duncan's diving penalty in the Diamond Generation Invitational, Ronaldo had started studying how to draw fouls in the penalty area. Recently, he had made some progress. He was just about to put his skills to the test, and you're telling me this is diving? Don't you understand basic deduction? Never heard of Stanislavski? If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129 European and American Styles, a Big Difference. Seeing Ronaldo about to confront the referee, Deng Kai immediately pulled him back. In fact, Ronaldo's fall in the penalty area could have been a penalty. However, calling it a dive wouldn't be far off either way, the probabilities are equal. This is because Ronaldo exhibited a state of passive resistance. This is also the biggest difference between football and basketball. Every so often, the NBA produces some groundbreaking players. The 4 great centers. Jordan. The 4 great shooting guards. LeBron James. After them, 2 players changed basketball. One is Curry, who ushered in the three-point era. The other is Harden, who ushered in the era of flopping. Before Harden, drawing fouls in basketball and football were essentially the same, head-on collisions. Those who drew fouls also bore the consequences of the contact. In that era, drawing fouls was a double-edged sword, a way to prove oneself, and highly valuable. But until the very end, few stars would choose this self-destructive style of play. However, Harden's pioneering flopping style of play, characterized by his deliberate attempts to draw fouls, turned drawing fouls into a derogatory term. This style, seemingly conforming to the rules, even exploiting them, made it so intimidating that people dared not approach him within a meter. His shooting motions, which were not actually shots, repeatedly earned him free throws and created space for him to handle the ball. This style of play was essentially anti-basketball, draining fans' passion and love for the sport. It was a major factor in the decline of the once highly competitive basketball era into glass basketball. From then on, every drive to the basket inevitably resulted in a foul, a change in intensity. Previously, shooting fouls were mostly limited to hitting the hand, but now, if you dared to defend, the opponent would almost always draw a foul, a change in purpose and nature. This seemingly problematic style of play, ironically conforming to the rules, meant that the NBA couldn't find a way to curb hardened style for a while. Only by introducing rules such as foul drawing actions involving unusual angles towards the defender during a shot or invalid did the trend of flapping gradually change. This inevitably leads people to ponder a question: are we playing by the rules, or playing basketball? This actually relates to a question many people didn't understand in their childhood. Everyone, including the police, clearly knows the other person is a bad guy, but why can't they arrest them, and why can they go unpunished? This is a classic debate, very difficult to say who is right or wrong. In sports, some things aren't written in the rules, not because the rules are flawed, but because those things simply don't fit the sport. Everyone understands this, but no one expected someone to be so shameless. Americans, for various reasons, have become metaphysical in this regard, and in many other aspects, making numerous laughable mistakes. But Europeans have never forgotten the original purpose of football. They also don't allow anyone to exploit loopholes in the rules for personal gain. Therefore, many fouls in football are sometimes penalized, sometimes not. Excluding the influence of biased refereeing and match fixing, the reason lies in the referee's judgment of the motives of both sides. According to the American view, entering the penalty area, contact between the opponent's leg and the ball carrier's leg, and the ball carrier falling down is definitely a penalty. Even if the ball carrier deliberately hooks the defender's foot with their own, it's still a penalty. In Europe, however, in football, if the referee believes that the player with the ball has not fully controlled it after entering the penalty area, the level of physical contact is much greater than when the opponent challenges for possession. In this situation, an easy fall is considered due to insufficient physical strength. Alternatively, if the player enters the penalty area without any offensive intent, or deliberately falls within the normal range of physical contact, these situations are not considered penalties. Therefore, Ronaldo's action in the penalty area was a penalty under American ideology and a dive under European principles. He deserved the yellow card. Many people debate the merits of these two approaches to the rules. These two opposing viewpoints exist in various countries and fields. Strictly following the rules seems fair and persuasive at first glance. However, closer examination reveals it to be overly idealistic and easily exploited. It's merely a capitalist's empty promise. Any loophole in the rules that a normal person can exploit, a capitalist can exploit as well. But a normal person can only exploit it once in a given time, while a capitalist can exploit it countless times within a certain period through hiring, replication, and other means. Who benefits the most? This seemingly fair approach immediately becomes an absolute injustice. Therefore, on any public social media platform, over time, the influx of capital-backed accounts and paid commentators silences the voices of genuine users. This is the absolute crushing of individuals by capital. While subjective regulation seems unfair and fraught with a crisis of trust, simply by shielding individuals from capital interference to a certain extent, ensuring that individual competitors remain individuals, it already provides ordinary people with a tremendous opportunity. Even if those who exercise subjective regulation are corrupted by capital and engage in fraud, this remains a low-probability event in large-scale data. It's a million times better than capital openly crushing ordinary people by modifying the rules. This is why there are many memorable cases of biased refereeing in European football, while seemingly fewer in American basketball. Everyone knows that the NBA's manipulation of the game far surpasses that of the top 5 European leagues. That's why many people watch basketball when they're young and then switch to football as they get older. During halftime, Viren was brainstorming with the coaching staff. They were trying to devise better ground passing combinations to break through Poland. But Deng Kai believed this wouldn't work. The Polish defense was incredibly solid, making ground penetration extremely difficult. Besides, the Portuguese actually had better methods. Actually, Almeida's heading ability is very strong, Deng Kai commented from the sidelines. The coaches looked at Deng Kai with some confusion, as if to say, You shouldn't be here, you should be under the car. You're just a player, and this is a coaching discussion. However, head coach Violante remained silent, instead looking at Deng Kai, indicating that he should speak. Deng Kai continued, several times in the first half, Almeida won the headers. Although the quality of his shots wasn't high. As long as he touched the ball, the quality was just a matter of angle adjustment and luck. Almeida is very tall, even without jumping, he has a certain chance of winning the header. Ronaldo has good jumping ability, and his heading ability is also quite good. If the two of them can always win the headers at the same point, then it will be very difficult for the opponent to defend. It's easy to mark one, but difficult to mark two at the same time. And in our team, we have more than just one or two players who are good at crossing. Chapter 130, the counter-attack begins. Violante pondered for a moment, then nodded and said, we can try it. Ronaldo, Almeida, Quaresma, Viana, come over here for a bit, The coaching staff then devised a specific heading tactic. Viana and Quaresma were instructed to attempt more crosses, with Almeida as the primary target. Almeida would be the main attacker. While Almeida was entangled with the opponent, Ronaldo would actively make overlapping runs with Almeida, creating a double threat. However, at the start of the second half, Poland changed their defensive strategy. They still parked the bus, but they also assigned a specific player to mark Quaresma, whom they considered the biggest threat. Quaresma struggled to receive the ball. The crossing tactic failed before it even began. If one side couldn't work, they tried the other. But Viana also had a problem. As a winger, Viana needed to switch positions with Ronaldo to execute the crossing tactic. Ronaldo had no problem with that. But Viana wasn't a speed-based player, he relied on technique. His runs down the flank were somewhat difficult. He excelled at dribbling and cutting inside after reaching the byline, but crossing from there was also challenging. Ultimately, it was Ronaldo who had more opportunities to cross. In the 56th minute, Viana passed a ball to Ronaldo, who easily dribbled down the flank and delivered a cross. The ball went wide. The quality of this pass sent chills down Violante's spine. In the 62nd minute, Ronaldo delivered another cross. This time it was an improvement, but still lacked quality. It was cleared by the opponent at the near post. In the 66th minute, after Ronaldo's cross was blocked, Poland launched a counter-attack. Ultimately, Font made a crucial interception. The Portuguese players began to lose their composure. Poland, rested and ready, played better and better. Portugal is in trouble, they lack reliable crossers. Or rather, their crossers are all neutralized, leaving them no room to maneuver. The double-attacking midfielder tactic itself offers a lot of attacking variation. But when the opponent completely abandons attack and focuses on defense, the double-attacking midfielder strategy becomes meaningless. Furthermore, Almeida is struggling to contest headers alone in the penalty area. Ronaldo needs to get inside to contest headers with him. Viana needs to do more, he must free up Ronaldo instead of constantly having him drift wide and cross. In the 70th minute, Portugal's attempts to create chances on the left flank failed. The ball returned to Meireles' feet. Meireles noticed Deng Kai's run and suddenly played a through ball. Deng Kai surged forward on the right flank, receiving the ball but not attempting to dribble past his opponent. Instead, he passed directly to Quaresma and continued to sprint into the penalty area. Quaresma received the ball on the wing and began cutting inside. Almost simultaneously, Deng Kai turned right from inside the penalty area and ran out of the box. The Polish defenders could then focus all their attention on Quaresma, with some pressing, some covering, and some blocking. Quaresma knew his cut inside was unlikely to succeed, but out of the corner of his eye, he saw Deng Kai slip out of the penalty area along the byline and move to the right wing. Quaresma immediately passed back. The Polish fullback raised his hand, indicating that Deng Kai was offside. However, Deng Kai was right next to the linesman, who had a clear view. The ball was not offside. Bang! Deng Kai crossed the ball without adjusting. A variety of passing skills were activated, including crosses from the wing, precise crosses, De Bruyne's intuitive passes, weighted spin passes, and low passes. The ball had a high arc, bypassing the defender at the near post before turning sharply downwards. Almeida didn't even jump, the ball landed on his head. It looked as if the ball wasn't looking for him, but rather looking for his head. Swish! A close-range header, full of power. The Polish goalkeeper couldn't prevent the goal. Goal. Finally, a goal. Substitute Almeida has equalized for Portugal. However, 90% of the credit for this goal goes to Deng Kai, who provided the assist. His crossing technique is superb. Almeida didn't even need to jump to head it. Almeida didn't need to exert much force, the ball itself was incredibly sharp. Deng Kai's crosses are reminiscent of Manchester United star player Beckham, who just won the treble. Although their techniques are completely different, the effect is surprisingly similar. As far as we know, Beckham highly regards Deng Kai. They've had several photos together at the Champions League awards ceremony. When Poland was in the lead, no one saw any hope for Portugal's victory. But when the score was 1-1, Portugal had the win in hand. Because a draw meant Poland was destined for elimination. Even if they managed to finish second, a mere 4 points wouldn't be enough to qualify as one of the two best second-place teams. Poland had to attack 74th minute. Poland's defensive positioning clearly faltered. Deng Kai repeated his tactic, making a forward run into the flank and disrupting Poland's defensive formation on the right. Portugal's right back, Bisingwa, easily made a run down the flank and received a cross. Poland was forced to concede a corner. Portugal's attacking storm began. In the 81st minute, Ronaldo made several breakthroughs on the left flank, but finding no shooting opportunity, he passed back to Viana. Everyone expected Viana to dribble and shoot, but Viana, with excellent vision, instantly switched the ball to Deng Kai on the right, who had switched positions with Quaresma. Deng Kai's feint cross sent the Polish left back flying. Deng Kai then dribbled towards the penalty area with his left foot. Facing the defender, Deng Kai made several touches with his left foot, finally finding a gap in the defender's retreat and weaving the ball between his legs, completing a nutmeg. Here, Quaresma surged into the penalty area to receive the ball. As long as the ball is given to him, whether he shoots from a tight angle towards the near post or curls a shot with the outside of his foot towards the far post, it's extremely threatening. The Polish center-backs immediately moved towards Quaresma. But they hadn't even fully taken a step, they had only just completed the shift of weight. The ball flew out. It was a world apart from Quaresma. A lob pass to the far post. Ronaldo suddenly accelerates inside the penalty area, surging forward to get a header. Unmarked. Ronaldo leaps high, and there's no defender. Goal, 2-1. Portugal has reversed the score in taking the lead. Another header. Poland's number 2 player had a chance to stop Ronaldo, but Almeida blocked him. Almeida set a beautiful screen for Ronaldo. But it must be said, the goal wasn't as good as the pass. Deng Kai's lobbed pass was incredibly inspired, and he was under immense pressure. Chapter 131 The Lisbon 4 versus the Dutch 4 Young Prodigies. Think about it, if that pass hadn't been good, would Quaresma have complained? I think the probability is very high. Almeida, as the tallest player on the field, has a very obvious physical advantage. As long as his teammates can deliver good crosses, his threat level will definitely be top tier. After this goal, Poland had no way out. They immediately launched an attack. In the 85th minute, Power Bank, Deng Kai's nickname, Stamina returned. Deng Kai made a sprinting sliding tackle, completing a super long-range interception. The ball was at least 3 meters away from him. This was an unconventional defense. At this stage, many players couldn't slide properly because they were out of energy. The next moment, Ronaldo, Viana, and Quaresma launched a three-pronged attack. Deng Kai played a through ball, accurately delivering the ball to Viana, who were slightly behind. Ronaldo immediately cut inside without the ball, moving from Viana's left to right. This blocked the Polish defenders rushing towards Viana. Without any vision, Viana made a curved pass. The ball, passed precisely from left to right, found Quaresma on the right edge of the penalty area. Quaresma was one-on-one. Facing the on-rushing goalkeeper, Quaresma used the outside of his foot to flick the ball in, a highly deceptive move that easily found the back of the net 3-1. Portugal extended their lead. The game was over. Poland's momentum instantly crumbled. They were eliminated. Not long ago, after the first round, they were top of the standings. In a single-leg group stage, the margin for error is simply too low. In the 90th minute, Poland, despite losing the game, continued to play attacking football, determined to keep the threat going until the very last moment. They consistently pressured the Portuguese penalty area, maintaining possession for 4 minutes. But Portugal's defense, undeterred, performed admirably. Poland's final pass was intercepted by Font. Font passed the ball to Meireles. The Portuguese players once again surged towards the Polish half. Even Viana joined the attack. He wouldn't normally do this, as he was responsible for the transition between attack and defense. But now, he still unconsciously believed that Deng Kai could execute the task well. Sure enough, Meireles passed the ball to Deng Kai, then made a run to create space for Deng Kai to pass. But there were still too few receiving points. The Polish players couldn't get back in time and could only surround Deng Kai, trying to intercept him in the attacking third. Deng Kai's eyes were filled with Polish players. He pulled and stepped with his right foot, bracing himself against a pressing player with his arm, completing a 180-degree turn. Before the opponent could reach out to intercept, he followed with his left foot, performing a very irregular Marseille's turn. At this moment, two more Polish players came over. Deng Kai bent over, repeatedly swatting away the opponents with both hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, one more time. A complete bumbu turn appeared in the European U16 Championship. Bang! After the bumbu turn, Deng Kai immediately accelerated, breaking through the encirclement. This was something no one expected. Meireles was even already running back, preparing for the next wave of defense. Bang! After breaking free, Deng Kai didn't continue dribbling, because it was unnecessary. Several young players in red and green were sprinting ahead. Deng Kai made a long pass. Ronaldo received the pass on the left. With just one touch, it would almost be a one-on-one opportunity. But Ronaldo didn't try to score himself, unusually passing the ball to Viana, who was making a run into the middle. Viana raised his foot. The Polish goalkeeper made a save. Viana twisted his ankle, feinted a shot, and passed the ball back to the right wing. Quaresma tapped it into the empty net. 4-1. Portugal defeated Poland by a large margin. Quaresma scores twice. Viana provides 2 assists. Deng Kai has now provided 2 assists in 2 consecutive matches. This goal, from Deng Kai to Ronaldo, Viana, and Quaresma, is another typical Lisbon connection. No wonder they are the 4 stars of Lisbon. Although they come from different age groups, they clearly share the common heritage of Sporting Lisbon, and they adapt to each other very quickly. In this atmosphere, even Ronaldo has learned to pass. Ronaldo was dumbfounded. Was this a compliment? Meireles, who passed the ball to Deng Kai, was also surprised. Why doesn't my pass count? Why is it counting from Deng Kai onwards? Am I not standing high enough? Font in the backfield seemed a little disgruntled. How about the Lisbon 5? I, Jose Font, am also a player in Sporting Lisbon's youth academy. Ultimately, the score was 4-1. Deng Kai provided 2 assists and orchestrated 2 attacks, earning him the Man of the Match award. Meanwhile, in another match that started and ended at the same time, the Czech Republic, trailing 0-1, scored 2 goals to ultimately defeat Switzerland. Thus, both the host Czech Republic and Portugal had 2 wins and 1 draw, accumulating 7 points. Their head-to-head record was a draw. However, Portugal had a much better goal difference than the Czech Republic, ultimately using this advantage to advance to the quarterfinals of the UEFA U17 Championship. The Czech Republic did not disappoint their local fans either. With 7 points, they became the best second-placed team among the 6 groups, successfully qualifying for the quarterfinals. The UEFA U17 Championship has entered the knockout stage. Poland has eliminated Portugal's main striker. Portugal may be an easy target in the quarterfinals. 2 games, 5 goals. Quaresma is in good form and confident of leading the team to the semifinals. 2 assists in consecutive games. Viren's double attacking midfield tactic is successful. Young player Deng Kai has become Portugal's new midfield core. 1 goal and 3 assists so far. Viana is playing with great composure. He and Iniesta are the most outstanding midfielders in this UEFA U17 Championship. Scoring in consecutive games. Young Ronaldo is performing consistently, efficiently, and with great impact. A 720-degree spin. Deng Kai's spin may be unsightly, but it's very effective. A striker has emerged. Postaga's injury has revealed another fan for Portugal. Is Almeida the answer for this team's centre-forward? After the match, news about the Portuguese team continued. Of course, there was also a lot of news about other teams. Torres and Iniesta of Spain shone brightly enough to dazzle fans. After the Netherlands victory, comparisons between the Dutch 4 young prodigies and the Lisbon 4 emerged, with a rivalry between the 2 groups sparking much discussion. Quaresma is undoubtedly the strongest, But many believe the Dutch four young prodigies are superior in terms of overall ability, talent, and skill. External opinions are constant, and internal opinions are also circulating. For example, Postiga is eager to return to the team. His family stated publicly, Postiga's injury is minor, and he can return to the team at any time. However, Viorant gave a contradictory answer in a press interview the following day. Chapter 132 This is the respect you want. Violante, we are a youth team, and the player's health is paramount. I will not let Postiga play injured, and I wish him a speedy and full recovery. This news made Postiga very uneasy. Almeida, on the other hand, was very happy. Although Postiga was better, sometimes the competition between players is mainly a competition with themselves. If your body doesn't have problems, no one can replace you. If your body is always having problems, then no one can help you. Almeida replacing Postiga happened right before Ronaldo's eyes, which had a considerable impact on him. He gained a deeper understanding of the impact of a healthy body. It seems that Deng Kai really didn't stop his family from making braised pork trotters and sweet and sour pork ribs because of the high price of ingredients like pig's feet and ribs. Yes, that must be it. Soon, the quarter-final match schedule was announced. Portugal had a terrible draw, drawing the seeded opponent of this year's European U17 Championship, the Netherlands. Now, there's no need to compare the four Dutch prodigies with the four Lisbon stars, because the match results will tell people the answer directly. Both teams' players were eager to put on a good show. Sneijder, perhaps this is fate. I made a mistake in the UEFA Youth League, and God has given me a chance to redeem myself. The end of season training is crucial, and I believe I've regained the qualifications to challenge and defeat Duncan. Van der Vaart, the coach, and I reviewed that game, and I saw my shortcomings. This time, I won't give the Portuguese a chance, especially not Duncan. Robin, hopefully, Ronaldo won't be afraid of me and go to the other wing this time. Van Persie, at my club, I lack the support of top-class midfield teammates, but the national youth team is different. Here, we have the best midfielders under 16 in the world. I will eliminate Portugal with the goals. Faced with the Netherlands' boast, the Portuguese were not to be outdone. Quaresma, it's laughable to call someone the best in the world at the U15 level. They'll have real respect for that title after they've played in U19, U21, and even the first team. Viana, Van der Vaart is excellent. He's considered the most talented attacking midfielder in the Netherlands. Coincidentally, some people say I'm the most talented attacking midfielder in Portugal. I think Portugal's best is the real best. Ronaldo, I want to score against the Netherlands, and I believe I have the ability. I've scored against the club teams of those four young talents. Duncan and I are the Netherlands' nemesis. Duncan, individual comparisons are meaningless. I hope Portugal can eliminate the Netherlands and advance to the semi-finals. As for comparisons with Sneijder and Van der Vaart, I don't care. They're strong, they're the best, okay? Duncan's last sentence in the interview directly stung the hearts of the four young Dutch talents. Are you kidding me? Can't you show some respect? The authoritative Dutch football media outlet International Football issued a serious critique of Deng Kai's attitude. A player who doesn't respect his opponents will never earn respect from others. Deng Kai can remain silent, but if he speaks, he should be responsible for his words. Does he really not care about individual performance? If so, why not let the more balanced Meireles play in his position, and start Semedo or Veloso, who are better defensively? That would be the most correct formation for the Portuguese team. Hopefully, Deng Kai will be more responsible in future interviews and stop being perfunctory with the media and fans. Dutch fans overwhelmingly praised this. Aside from Barcelona and Atletico Madrid fans, Dutch fans are arguably the most disliked of Deng Kai. As for the reason, Deng Kai responded mercilessly to international football. I've beaten Feyenoord at the club level, and eliminated Groningen and Ajax. In the UEFA Youth League, my goals and assists, along with Ronaldo's, are higher than any of the four Dutch young talents. I don't know why those we've already defeated are still considered better than Ronaldo and me by the media. Of course I'll be wary of or even expectant of my opponents, but to expect me to be subservient to a group of losers, I'm sorry, I really can't do that. The fact that the Avengers are favored is disrespectful to victory. So, who should show more truth and respect to the fans? How long will the Dutch media keep the truth that Portugal is stronger? How long will they hide the fact that Ronaldo and I are better than the four Dutch Avengers? Now I've said it all. Dutchmen, Is this the respect you want? Deng Kai fired off. The Dutch media fell silent. Media outlets in Spain, Germany, and other countries reprinted Deng Kai's quotes. Because what Deng Kai said was true. As the losers, why would anyone think the 4 young Dutch talents are better than the 4 Lisbon stars? Is the information conveyed to domestic fans by the Dutch media truly accurate? Or are Dutch fans deceiving themselves? Undoubtedly, Portugal won this pre-match propaganda war decisively. In public, Portuguese fans completely overwhelmed Dutch fans, forcing them to take a detour. Hathaway, what's the decision? A staff member approached Hathaway for a chat. What decision? Hathaway asked, puzzled. Should we go to the match tomorrow? The staff member said, the UEFA U16 quarterfinal. Netherlands vs. But I'm not interested in football. Hathaway genuinely didn't understand. Director Marshall had asked her the same question a couple of days ago. The staff member was somewhat disappointed, but if we don't go tomorrow, we won't be able to watch the UEFA U16 match. Recently, due to the closed filming schedule, the Princess Diaries cruise filming progressed rapidly. Coupled with Anne Hathaway's rapidly improving filming condition, the crew progressed at breakneck speed, completing all the scenes in the Czech Republic in one day. Next, they were to return to the United States for final filming and post-production. The crew had booked a flight for the day after tomorrow. Director Marshall was very satisfied with Hathaway's performance on set. As someone with an open attitude towards young people's relationships, Marshall didn't mind giving Hathaway a reward. For example, letting Hathaway meet her boyfriend. Marshall didn't want Hathaway to suffer a significant drop in her condition due to lovesickness after returning to the United States. This film needed Hathaway to have a romantic feeling. Leaving the day after tomorrow? But a strange feeling welled up in Hathaway's heart. She couldn't help but feel a little resentful. What was Deng Kai doing? Why hadn't he come to visit the set yet? Didn't he say he would come after his team's match? What match would take so long? Or was his match already over, but he was watching the European U16 matches every day? So he didn't have time to come? Was she really that unimportant? Hathaway felt emo. Chapter 133 My Boyfriend Can't Be a National Football Player series. From beginning to end, Hathaway believed Deng Kai was just a football enthusiast. Club youth academy player sounds professional, but football has a huge influence in Europe. A large proportion of European boys who enjoy sports have experience in club youth academies. The UEFA U16 Championship is for youth national team players, the best of the best. Normally, no one would mistake a friend they meet for a national team player, right? Just like you wouldn't think your classmate could easily get into Harvard, except for those from Chengdu No. 7 High School. This match is exciting. The Netherlands and Portugal are both very strong. It's almost a final level match, the staff member continued enthusiastically. Because if Hathaway didn't watch the game, Marshall wouldn't arrange for the entire crew to attend, and everyone wouldn't get free tickets. Portugal? Hathaway remembered the Portuguese jersey Deng Kai wore when he went to their meeting. He was a Portugal fan. Perhaps she could meet him in the stands? If she really did meet him, it would be God's arrangement. Then she would have no reason to think about whether they were compatible or the age gap. Let God decide this relationship. Hathaway made up her mind instantly. Coming from a middle-class background, she was generous, outspoken, confident, and decisive. She didn't see pursuing a boy as something beneath her. She was just unsure of her feelings for Deng Kai and wanted to spend more time with him before making a decision. But if fate allowed them to meet sooner, Hathaway was willing to take the risk. Okay. Let's go. Hathaway nodded. Then the staff outside the door called out excitedly. The room was already packed with people. Hathaway smiled. If she had known so many people wanted to see the game, she would have agreed much earlier. Consider it a gift for the staff. At the same time, the staff smiled too. Hathaway was well-mannered, straightforward, and didn't have the annoying traits of typical American bad girls. Everyone liked her. Seeing her boyfriend playing football so handsomely was their gift to her. Yes, handsome. The Princess Diaries crew had already approved of Deng Kai's good looks. As long as he grew a little taller, they would agree to the marriage. June 19th. The UEFA U16 Championship quarterfinals kicked off. The two teams facing off were the Netherlands and Portugal. More than 30,000 fans attended the match. The Princess Diaries crew, through the connections and resources of Director Marshall, secured a row of excellent seats, very close to the stadium. On the field, many people were wearing jerseys of the Netherlands or Portugal's youth national teams. Hathaway spotted a few Portuguese jerseys with a number 24. Like the jersey Deng Kai was wearing, it had DK Caesar written on the back. Caesar is the name of Julius Caesar, the great emperor. So he's a fan of Caesar, Hathaway nodded. She knew that many football and basketball players like to give themselves nicknames. For example, Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman. In Europe, many players would even change their names to resemble their idols, like Benfica star Nuno Gomes. This Caesar sounded a bit childish, but he must be a very good player. Deng Kai's fondness for Caesar might be related to the fact that both their names contain the character Kai. This is a common name preference. People with Fen, peak, in their names tend to prefer Lif, and those with Fen, ordinary, tend to prefer wife. Well, maybe it's better to change names. These characters aren't considered auspicious. As the players entered the field, the commentators began calling out their names. Commentator, Raphael. Dutch fans, Van der Vaart. Commentator, Wesley. Dutch fans, Sneijder. Commentator, Robin. Dutch fans, Van Persie. Commentator, Arjen. Dutch fans, Robin. But when other players were mentioned, the response was noticeably weaker. The difference in popularity among these players was enormous. When the commentators introduced the Portuguese team, Quaresma received the loudest response. His voice was louder than anyone on the Dutch side. Cristiano Ronaldo, Hugo Viana, Hugo Almeida, and so on couldn't compare to Quaresma. But finally, an unexpected event occurred. When the team's last player, number 24, entered the field. Commentator, Kaiser. Portuguese fans, Kaiser. 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 The cheers were even comparable to Quaresma's. Meanwhile, the Dutch fans booed incessantly. They hadn't been this out of line even against Quaresma. They clearly disliked this Kaiser. The entire stadium ignited instantly. The atmosphere was electric. Tension was high. This player seems very controversial. Why do the Dutch fans hate him so much? Hathaway asked, puzzled. Her on-screen friend, Heather Matarazzo, sitting next to her, smiled mysteriously. Acting. Keep acting. Pretending not to know your boyfriend? Matarazzo, of course, it's because he's the most handsome man in this stadium. Hathaway looked completely bewildered. Seriously? This Kaiser, can he be as handsome as my Kaiser? You probably haven't seen my Kaiser. Matarazzo, he's the youngest player in this year's UEFA Youth League, about 3 years younger than you. But I don't think age is a problem. I've seen his interviews with the media, and I think he's mentally mature enough. Honestly, he's far better than those cool boys in the American entertainment and music industry. I think you made the right choice. Besides, he's considered the biggest discovery in Portuguese youth football this year, leading the team to victory in the UEFA Youth League and winning the UEFA Youth League Player of the Year award. His future is also very bright. You know Manchester United, right? You know Ferguson and Beckham, right? They both like him a lot. Some people say that Manchester United's treble this year is inseparable from his support and guidance. He's also a player of Chinese descent, and you have 1/4 Mongolian ancestry, which is really amazing. You know, Mongolia used to be part of the mainland. The only slight difference is his height. But men develop a little slower, so who knows, he might grow to 1.8 meters tall in the future. Hathaway was getting increasingly uneasy. Was this a football match or a blind date? Although what you said was very good, I'm sorry, I already have someone I like. Why do you know so much about him? Hathaway wondered. Did her best friend like this young player? What a coincidence, she also liked a player younger than herself. Matarazzo smiled mysteriously. He's my best friend's boyfriend, of course I have to help her choose. I've read his profile and interviews several times. I think my best friend will be happy with him. Hathaway nodded, but felt a little disappointed. She thought she was the only best friend Matarazzo had. Sigh, she'd been wrong. But if Matarazzo's best friend's boyfriend was this Caesar, wouldn't she be able to get a signed football from him? If she gave the signed football to Deng Kai, he would definitely be very happy. Hathaway couldn't help but smile at the thought. But soon, Hathaway's smile froze on her face. It was replaced by confusion, shock, and joy. Speechless. I fell asleep at 2:30 last night. Based on the matches I've seen so far, Argentina has big problems, and their qualification is uncertain. If they had just added one or two more defensive midfielders, they would have played much more comfortably. Argentina, with a stronger defense, would actually have a stronger attack. As for England, I'm not optimistic. Matches without physicality and a fast pace won't reveal true talent. If nothing unexpected happens, England will likely falter against strong teams. Among all the teams currently, none have reached the final or even semi-final level in my opinion. France is probably one, but I haven't watched their matches, and they're widely considered a favorite to win, so I won't speculate. Hopefully, some exceptional teams will emerge tonight. Tonight's predictions: Croatia will definitely beat Morocco. We can't afford to lose to Momo. Germany is also a sure bet against Japan. Although Japan isn't weak, Germany's coach Flick, back at Bayern, will definitely put on a high-scoring game. Spain versus Costa Rica, I'm blindly predicting a narrow Spanish victory. I haven't paid much attention to the young Spanish players before. This will be a good test. Belgium versus Canada, Belgium will win without a doubt. As long as De Bruyne is playing, Belgium reaching the quarterfinals is no problem. Chapter 134 Deng Kai's kiss smells like fresh grass. Because the footage of Kaiser was being shown on the big screen, he waved to the fans, exuding superstar charisma, just like the calm expression on his face when she saw him in the Grove. His eyes were resolute, his gaze sweeping over the Dutch players like a cheetah, ready to pounce. This was a sharp edge Hathaway had never seen in the humorous, witty, polite, and encouraging Deng Kai. Strange and familiar. Kaiser and Deng Kai. This moment overlapped infinitely. It was him. It really was him. Hathaway felt a surge of warmth. They had met. But not in the stands, but between the stands and the pitch. Whistle. The whistle blew. The match officially began. Oh. This is so intense. The midfield battle between the Netherlands and Portugal is exceptionally fierce today. Whoever controls the midfield controls the game. This is a battle between Van der Vaart, Sneijder, Viana, and Duncan. Duncan is brought down by Sneijder. Duncan intercepts Van der Vaart's pass. Continuous passing errors, both sides' players are getting increasingly aggressive. The referee has warned Duncan and Sneijder. Watching Duncan being repeatedly knocked down on the field, Hathaway's face paled considerably. She hadn't expected a football match to be so intense. Every time Duncan fell, her heart ached. She now loathed the Dutch players in their orange jerseys. When that charming, humorous young man awkwardly tumbled onto the grass, only to decisively bring down his opponent again, Hathaway felt a surge of pride and satisfaction. Netherlands, isn't this a double standard? 7th minute. Duncan dodged Van der Vaart's tackle with a croquet move, then launched a long pass to Quaresma on the right. Quaresma cut inside successfully, held off the Dutch centre-back, and unleashed a long-range shot, winning a corner. Viana held up 3 fingers beside the ball before taking the corner. Ronaldo jumped early inside the penalty area, blocking the space for Heitinga and other Dutch defenders to jump. Almeida only needed to tiptoe slightly, and his head touched the ball. Swish. Header into the net, 1-0. Portugal takes the lead. Oh. Heitinga is complaining about a foul on Portugal's corner kick. He thinks Ronaldo is holding him down. But the referee signals the goal stands. Almeida is in great form, Portugal is using his height to their advantage, and it's very effective. Even if Postiga recovers from his injury now, he'll probably be on the bench for a while. 13th minute. Ronaldo's unsuccessful breakthrough on the left wing resulted in a pass back to Viana. Viana made a wide pass. Quaresma received the ball on the wing. Duncan suddenly surged forward in the half space. Quaresma decisively crossed. The opponent stretched out his leg to block, but Quaresma's cross was a half-high ball, which slipped just under the opponent's outstretched leg. The advancing Deng Kai leaped and flicked the ball on at the near post. The ball changed direction, its arc rising higher. Almeida jumped inside the penalty area, but failed. Almeida fell to the ground inside the penalty area. The referee immediately blew his whistle and pointed to the penalty spot. Penalty. At the same time, the referee showed Heitinga a yellow card. He had pushed Almeida down. The Dutch junior players surrounded him, trying to change the referee's decision. But to no avail. In fact, it would have been reasonable for the referee to show Heitinga a red card. Quaresma then converted the penalty, making it 2-0. Portugal had taken a commanding 2-goal lead within the first 15 minutes of the match. The Netherlands are in pain, they lack tall centre-backs, and they can't effectively contain Almeida. A center forward of Almeida's physique is exactly what Portugal lacks. His future is bright. Quaresma's performance truly lives up to his superstar status. But in this attack, Deng Kai's role is the most undeniable. His diving touch was a classic. He not only has excellent positioning awareness but also exceptional ball handling ability. This kind of act of surrendering one's body to the sky requires not only skill and judgment but also immense courage. The camera replayed the scene of Deng Kai getting up after his diving touch and spitting out grass from his mouth. Hathaway in the stands couldn't help but wonder if Deng Kai's mouth smelled of grass. But she immediately realized what she was doing. Her face flushed red with embarrassment. Matarazzo, standing nearby, praised, "He's truly brave." These days, it's harder for young male actors to fall flat on their faces after being shot in a scene than to die. They absolutely won't put their feet down without a 20-centimeter thick foam pad. Compared to him, this Caesar is a real man. Hey? Hathaway, did you drink the beer I had in the Coke can? Why is your face so red? Hathaway shook her head. Stop saying anything related to drinking, eating, licking, lips, tongue. That damn grassy scent is coming back to mind. But fate played a cruel joke on the Portuguese team. Just when Almeida was causing the Dutch defense a lot of trouble, in the 28th minute, after a header challenge with Heitinga, Almeida twisted his ankle. The obvious deformity was chilling. Even the Dutch goalkeeper, who witnessed this, immediately raised his hand, frantically signaling for the team doctor to come onto the field. The Portuguese team doctor arrived, and they immediately called for a stretcher. This is a visibly serious ankle injury. Almeida couldn't continue the game and had to leave the field. Lorenzo came on as a substitute. Lorenzo is Sporting Lisbon U15 starting center forward, but he's shorter than Ronaldo and isn't a target man. He's a striker somewhere between speed and positioning. Portugal thus lost their aerial threat. In the 33rd minute, Quaresma, having adapted to the Dutch defense, began to shine. He elegantly dribbled past the Dutch fullback with a cross. But Lorenzo couldn't reach it. The ball was easily cleared by the Dutch centre-back. In the 39th minute, Ronaldo received the ball and combined with the stretched Lorenzo, but their play was too simplistic. Lorenzo's 1-2 pass to Ronaldo was intercepted. The ball fell to Sneijder. Deng Kai immediately rushed towards Sneijder. Bang! Sneijder completed a long pass first, decisive and giving Deng Kai no chance. Robin advanced down the right flank, combining with Van der Vaart to dribble past him. Both players are dribbling masters, and if they're willing to pass the ball to each other, no one can stop them. Van der Vaart, with a clear long-range shot at his disposal, dribbled an extra dribble, forcefully pulling out Portugal's centre-back Font, and then passed the ball diagonally. Van Persie was almost unmarked in the penalty area. He shot without controlling the ball, easily sending it into the net 1-2. The Netherlands began to equalize 43rd minute. The Netherlands controlled possession during this period. Van der Vaart advanced through the middle. Neither Duncan nor Meireles could dispossess him. Van Persie dropped back to receive the ball. Van der Vaart passed it to him, but continued his forward run. Van Persie received the ball and immediately passed it diagonally to Robin on the right wing, then turned and surged forward himself. For a moment, both Van der Vaarts were on the move. The Portuguese penalty area was in turmoil. However, Robin feigned a pass while running, then flicked the ball with his toe, sending it between the legs of Portugal's left back Jorge Ribeiro. Robin accelerated instantly, bursting past Robin and Ribéry into the penalty area. Font could only rush over to block Robin, knocking him down. The referee immediately blew his whistle and pointed to the penalty spot. Font, clutching his head, went to argue with the referee, believing it was a normal challenge. But the referee stood by his decision. Font, completely unable to touch the ball, forcibly knocked Robin down sideways. This wasn't a challenge for the ball, it was a man-on-man attack. Font received a yellow card for this. Subsequently, Van der Vaart took the penalty himself, won by Robin. Van der Vaart didn't disappoint Robin, converting the penalty. Before halftime, the Netherlands had scored 2 goals in quick succession, leveling the score. Chapter 135. The founders are often not the beneficiaries. Portugal is in trouble now. Without their aerial threat, they've lost their attacking prowess. The midfields are evenly matched, but the Dutch players are more aggressive in defense, making Portugal's ground passing more difficult. Now both sides are back to square one, but the Netherlands have a clear advantage in momentum. Villarreal needs to make adjustments to the Portuguese team. Substitute Lorenzo is still significantly less capable than the starters. Portugal needs a focal point in attack. The commentators' assessments were very accurate. In fact, in the Portuguese locker room, Villarant was also analyzing the team's attacking focal point problem. Ultimately, Villarant decided to take a risky tactic. At the start of the second half, the commentators were stunned. Oh! Portugal made another substitution at halftime. Lorenzo, who came on as a substitute earlier, was replaced by his club teammate Veloso, a defensive midfielder for a centre-forward. Cristiano Ronaldo has moved to the centre-forward position. He's not a centre-forward by profession, but he's played a couple of games for his club with reportedly good results. While he doesn't have Almeida's hold-up play or height, his attacking power and shooting ability are stronger. If Portugal focuses on through balls, Ronaldo could indeed cause problems for the Netherlands. Viana has moved to the left-winger position. This will be a test for the Netherlands right-back, as Viana's technical characteristics are completely different from Ronaldo's, requiring the defender to switch defensive modes. Meireles has moved to the left attacking midfielder position, while Veloso is now playing in Meireles' previous defensive midfield role. Overall, Portugal's defensive capabilities have improved. But on the attacking end, although the lineup looks good and the personnel changes are minor, many players are in new positions. It remains to be seen whether they can create new sparks. 49th minute. Viana delivered a diagonal pass down the wing. Ronaldo was entangled by Hatinga, ultimately causing the ball to roll out of bounds. In the 55th minute, Meireles passed to Ronaldo, who, with his back to goal, had the ball poked away by an opponent while turning. His ability to hold the ball with his back to goal needs improvement. In the 62nd minute, the Netherlands began to launch an attack. Robben created a throw-in on the wing using his individual skill. After the throw-in, Van der Vaart passed back to Sneijder, and everyone expected Sneijder to switch the ball to the other side and then penetrate through the defense. However, Sneijder directly lobbed the ball into the penalty area. This was a very skillful through ball. Portugal's formation was compressed at this point, and the distance between the defensive line and the goalkeeper was not large. If the ball was passed a little too far, the goalkeeper would catch it. If it was passed a little too little, it would be within the defensive range of the centre-backs. But Sneijder managed to cut a ball to that awkward spot. Van Persie had a flash of inspiration and dived to head the ball. Fortunately, Portuguese centre-back Font was alert and, risking a kick to Van Persie's head, cleared the ball first. Van Persie hesitated at the last moment, ducking his head. Otherwise, he would have been the one to touch the ball first. It's not that Van Persie wasn't brave, his diving save was already quite courageous. But often, after you muster the courage to face a difficulty, you realize you weren't prepared enough. Because he was afraid of hitting Van Persie's head, Font's clearance was less powerful, and the ball flew out of the penalty area, but not far. Sneijder, who had just completed a lobbed pass, was there. He volleyed the ball, and it came right back. It was a world-class goal. Sneijder. The Dutch midfield duo, Sneijder, has scored. The Netherlands have officially overtaken Portugal. They've truly avenged themselves. Sneijder, Van der Vaart, Robben, and Van Persie have won back everything they lost in the UEFA Youth League. The Avengers don't need hand-me-downs of respect, they'll earn it with their goals. Deng Kai. Are you ready to accept defeat? Dutch fans cheered wildly. This match was incredibly depressing. Who dared to mock them as a bunch of losers? Now? Who are the losers? Hathaway in the stands frowned deeply. At this moment, she gained a deeper understanding of football. This wasn't just playing football. This was a war. A war they couldn't afford to lose. And Deng Kai's current situation seemed dire. He was about to lose this war. This goal had put Ronaldo in a state of agitation. In the 65th minute, Deng Kai delivered a brilliant through ball. But Ronaldo had started his run prematurely and was offside. The understanding between the Sporting Lisbon duo had weakened because of Ronaldo's mentality. In the 68th minute, Van der Vaart won a free kick in the attacking third. His free kick was of high quality, hitting the target, but Portuguese goalkeeper Vale held on to his team's hopes, keeping the shutout. In the 74th minute, the still shining Van der Vaart won a corner. After the corner was taken, Meireles anticipated Van der Vaart's intention and headed the ball away at the near post. Attacks from both sides were back and forth, with neither side dominating. Both had chances. In the 80th minute, Viana dribbled down the wing, drawing defenders before sending a long pass to Quaresma on the other side. Quaresma played a 1-2 with Duncan on the right flank, cutting inside the penalty area. Portuguese fans tensed instantly, chanting encouragement for Quaresma. Quaresma dribbled past his challenger in the box with a nutmeg, then delivered a powerful cross. His superstar ability was on full display. This threat was entirely Quaresma's doing. Because the ball was moving too fast, the Dutch centre-back, who was half a step behind, couldn't even touch it. Ronaldo had a chance to touch the ball, but Heitinga tackled him, causing Ronaldo to miss the ball. Heitinga definitely fouled. But he also stopped Ronaldo. He admitted that he was gambling, betting that the referee wouldn't see it. Just as the ball was about to slide across the goal, Viana, who had also cut inside into the penalty area, slid down towards the ball. He only had eyes for this black and white sprite. Bang! Clang! In the broadcast, the ball went into the net. But the next moment, Viana crashed hard into the goalpost. He crashed into it from the side. His whole body bent instantly, like a broken stick. The players next to him heard the cracking sound. Team doctor! Quick! Team doctor! Both teams immediately raised their hands and looked to the sidelines, almost as urgently as when Almeida was injured, calling for the team doctor, even more urgently. The Portuguese team doctor came onto the field for the second time, and then quickly called for a stretcher for the second time. Viana suffered severe impact to his left hip and left kidney, initially diagnosed as fractures, but a more serious condition cannot be ruled out. His injury is more threatening than Almeida's. Viana was forced to leave the field injured. Portugal equalized the score. But they also lost their midfield linchpin in the process. Viana was carried off the field with tears streaming down his face. Partly from the pain, but also because he knew he would never return to this pitch. His European U16 journey was over. He traded his remaining matches to help Portugal catch up with the Netherlands. If Portugal were to experience a miracle, he would be the one who laid the foundation for that miracle. But the one who lays the foundation is often not the one who reaps the rewards. His 15th year was destined to leave some regrets. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136. Could this be the power of love? Portugal was forced to use their last substitution. Amorim came on as a substitute, carrying instructions from Violent. The team changed their formation. Ronaldo remained as center forward. Meireles and Quaresma played as left and right wingers respectively. Duncan played as the lone attacking midfielder. Amorim and Veloso formed the double pivot in midfield. The team further strengthened their defense. Veloso closely marked Der Vaart, while Amorim covered Robin. In the 85th minute, Van der Vaart dribbled past Veloso in the middle. He had faced Veloso many times and had gradually figured out his defensive rhythm. His attacking talent was clearly superior to Veloso's defensive talent. The latter was a fringe player for the national team, while the former was a core player. However, Amorim appeared in time, tackled Van der Vaart, and received a yellow card. This was the last good chance for either side to score in regular time. Alright, the 6 minutes of added time are over. The referee blows the whistle, and the match goes into extra time. 3-3, Portugal and the Netherlands have put on a spectacular match for us. The Netherlands have fully demonstrated how powerful four avenging teams can be, reminiscent of Journey to the West from one of China's four great classical novels. White Dragon Horse? The Portuguese team, on the other hand, displayed their indomitable spirit in the face of victory. In terms of strength, the Netherlands is now stronger than Portugal. But in terms of willpower, Portugal is stronger. After all, they've sacrificed two key teammates. As the old Chinese saying goes, sacrificing teammates makes the world go round, but even if Portugal advances, they'll find it difficult to go any further in this European U16 tournament. Depleted, so I think for the sake of excitement and suspense in the remaining matches, the Netherlands advancing is a better option. The camera is now focused on the stands. Both sets of fans are very serious. Wait, why is the camera so focused on this beautiful woman? The director even showed a picture-in-picture, Cristiano Ronaldo, who was drinking water, patted Deng Kai and then pointed to the big screen. This beautiful woman in Deng Kai? Oh. It's her. Viewers, get ready for some drama. We've just received news that the beautiful woman appearing on the big screen is the rising American actress, Anne Hathaway. Rumors had circulated before that she was dating Deng Kai, and the media speculated that they were in a relationship. Deng Kai had come out to clarify, but Hathaway's side had not responded. Now it seems that Deng Kai may have deceived us. Hathaway even came to the stadium to cheer him on, and he still dares to say that there's nothing between him and Hathaway? As the commentator spoke, a unified chant gradually rose from the stadium. Hathaway. 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 Clearly, many fans seemed to know about Deng Kai's rumored romance. On the big screen, Hathaway's face grew increasingly red, until even her ears and neck turned red. Deng Kai, reminded by Ronaldo's jealous expression, looked around and found the stand where Hathaway was. He nodded to Hathaway, thanking her for coming to cheer him on. Hathaway's face turned even redder. Matarazzo shook his head repeatedly beside him. Had anyone in the entire crew ever seen Hathaway so shy? She was definitely in love. Hopelessly in love. Director Marshall nodded repeatedly. The tickets were definitely worth it. He wanted Hathaway to maintain this state for the upcoming scenes. This genuine shyness and sweetness was more powerful than any acting. Kai? You have to keep it up. Virant encouraged Deng Kai. As someone who's been there, I can tell you with certainty that losing is okay, but you absolutely cannot lose in front of the girl you love. Otherwise, you might lose not only the game, but also your love. Oh. Deng Kai gave an awkward smile. How could there be love? She's just my sister. Oh no, she's just my friend. We're not even close. Then, extra time began. But the camera kept focusing on Hathaway. So this extra time, which should have been full of tension, was instead filled with pink bubbles. Fans on both sides also had inexplicable smiles on their faces. You have to admit, shipping is truly the primary driving force. Even in the world of football, this holds true. Right, Capello? In the 96th minute, Veloso intercepted Van der Vaart. Van der Vaart's stamina began to decline rapidly. But Robben immediately tackled Veloso, preventing a counterattack. Robben received a yellow card as a result. The Dutch coach took this opportunity to substitute Van der Vaart. He wouldn't repeat the mistakes made by the Ajax coach. The national team's talent pool is better than the club team's, and substituting Van der Vaart wouldn't completely cripple the Dutch team. In the 98th minute, Robben cut inside from the right wing and shot. The shot hit the post and bounced out. The entire Dutch team was heartbroken. After the shot, Robben lay on the ground, panting for a long time. His stamina was exhausted. If he hadn't had stamina issues, that shot would have been a sure goal. The Dutch coach then substituted Robben as well. As Robben left the field, he looked at Deng Kai with great resentment. How could this guy still run? And, he seemed to run even faster than the others? Deng Kai smiled slightly. No worries about battery life, I have Huing and kidney tonic, oops. I have a power bank. Subsequently, the game gradually shifted into Portugal's rhythm. Deng Kai's passing frequency noticeably increased. In the 102nd minute, Deng Kai passed a ball to right back Basingwa, who found Quaresma. Quaresma, exhausted, held the ball for a moment. Deng Kai made a diagonal run, moving from Quaresma's left to his right flank. Quaresma passed a ball to Deng Kai and then slowly cut towards the flank. Stop running, stop running. You're on your way, Deng Kai. The retreating Sneijder immediately closed in on Deng Kai. He wasn't willing to give Deng Kai any chance, knowing Deng Kai was just as dangerous as he was. The more crucial the moment, the less room for complacency. Then Deng Kai backheeled the ball to just his facing, choosing to face Sneijder head-on. The ball was right in front of Deng Kai. Deng Kai's right foot traced the ball, but he didn't touch it. Deng Kai kept making feints. Sneijder remained unmoved, watching the ball closely, refusing to be fooled. Dragging the ball out was more advantageous for the Netherlands. Bang! With 3 seconds remaining, Deng Kai suddenly flicked the ball with his right foot, his left foot instantly extending. A takoyaki. The ball rolled forward. Sneijder immediately turned, simultaneously bracing himself against Deng Kai with one hand, trying to get the ball past him. But the next moment, Deng Kai forcefully pulled Sneijder's left hand from behind his back to his front. He couldn't hold on. Deng Kai's speed and power. Breakthrough. Deng Kai challenges Sneijder on the wing, directly using his speed to outpace Sneijder. How is he so fast? Heitinga is here. 3 players, plus Sneijder pulling him from behind. The Dutch team has 3 players surrounding Deng Kai. Ronaldo has created space in the penalty area. Quaresma is also open in the flank. But Deng Kai has no passing options, he's surrounded by 3 players. Is the ball going to be lost? No, it's not lost yet. Is that a Marseille's turn? Deng Kai is continuously spinning to protect the ball, the confrontation is very intense. Bang! After a 720-degree bumbo turn, Deng Kai flicked the ball. The ball went through Haydinga's legs and rolled into the edge of the penalty area. Chapter 137 Deng Kai's good physical fitness makes Hathaway happy. But that's not all. The next moment, Deng Kai sprinted and jumped, breaking through the crowd. A 1-on-3. Deng Kai received the ball on the edge of the penalty area, flicking it twice with his left foot. The Dutch centre-back thought Deng Kai was going to shoot and was directly tricked and fell to the ground. Bang! A left-footed curler. A high arc shot went straight into the far corner. Goal. World-class goal. A 3-on-1. He dribbled past the centre-back. A last-minute winner. Deng Kai. Deng Kai is invincible. This shot is so similar to Robben's shot before he left the field. But the only difference is the result. Robben hit the post, while Deng Kai scored directly. This is absolutely the most spectacular goal of the match. If this goal had come from Quaresma, I wouldn't be so surprised and delighted. Even Ronaldo could have scored such a heroic goal. But I never expected that it would be Deng Kai who stepped up for Portugal. In the 103rd minute, Deng Kai used his least favorite skill, dribbling, to score a brilliant goal. Is this the Caesar of football? He's practically a god on the field. On the field. After scoring, Deng Kai immediately rushed towards the corner flag. He leaped high, turning 180 degrees in midair. Arms down, a god descending to earth. The entire stadium chanted the exhilarating slogan along with him. Suuuuu. Matarazzo in the stands was stunned. "And, your boyfriend, is so handsome." Hathaway nodded without hesitation for the first time. "Really, so handsome." 4-3, Portugal took the lead before halftime and extra time. They had seized control of the game. During halftime, the Dutch coach was spitting as he spoke, but his players were already showing signs of fatigue. Extra time was too much of a burden for the young players. This shows the effectiveness of Deng Kai's power bank skill. In the future football world where everyone is a stamina monster, this skill wouldn't be very useful. But in extra time for a youth team, it's a deadly weapon. Halftime resumed 108th minute. Bisingwa and Quaresma overlap on the flank. Deng Kai made a run down the flank and received a diagonal pass from Bisingwa just before the byline. It wasn't a technically brilliant run. But the reason Deng Kai was able to receive the ball easily was that no one else could keep up with him. Bang! Deng Kai delivered a cutback pass near the byline inside the penalty area. Ronaldo easily tapped the ball into the net from the penalty spot. 5-3. The game was no longer in doubt. 118th minute. The Portuguese fans rose to their feet, ready to celebrate this hard-won victory. But Deng Kai, playing with increasing enthusiasm, couldn't stop, creating a corner with a long-range shot from outside the penalty area. Meireles took the corner, which was headed back. Meireles received the ball and made another cross, but actually delivered a low cross. Ronaldo was prepared and held off Haydinga. Haydinga is known for his dirty tricks. If Viana hadn't scored after that injury, the referee would definitely have held Haydinga accountable, most likely a penalty and a yellow card. In that sense, Haydinga had already gained an advantage. But this time, Ronaldo won the duel. However, the contest with Haydinga caused Ronaldo to miss a shooting opportunity, the ball slipping between his legs. Bang! Deng Kai surged forward from the back to pounce on the ball. Sneijder, who was marking him, was completely lost in his feint. It's terrifying that someone could still fake a run when they were attacking in the 118th minute. The ball easily went into the net. Deng Kai scored his second goal, making the score 6-3. At this moment, at least half of the Dutch players knelt on the ground. Despair. Resentment. Helplessness. Convince. So many complex emotions mingled. Deng Kai bypassed his teammates' arms and charged towards the corner flag again. His teammates were exhausted, even Ronaldo didn't join in the celebration. Deng Kai reached the corner flag, found the microphone, and turned to point in Hathaway's direction. "Thank you for coming to this game. Without your support, it would have been difficult for us to win. Wishing The Princess Diaries a box office success. Remember to go to the cinema to see it." The fans in the stadium shouted obediently, The Princess Diaries. The Princess Diaries. The Princess Diaries. Director Marshall's face was practically beaming. He felt a lot of flashes. This publicity effect was probably a bit beyond expectations. If Marshall initially held a neutral stance on Deng Kai and Hathaway's marriage, he now wanted to be the witness for their union. Who wouldn't love Deng Kai like that? Matarazzo clapped his hands and whispered in Hathaway's ear, "Oh my God. You're so lucky. He not only loves you, but he's also incredibly fit." Hathaway was taken aback. Fit? Happy? What's the connection? Then Hathaway lowered her head in embarrassment. She was no longer innocent. Ultimately, the score was 6-3. The Netherlands played a good game. But the Portuguese dominated the pitch in extra time. In a post-match interview, Sneijder bluntly admitted, "It's hard to imagine a player unleashing such energy in extra time, especially considering he was on the field from the very first minute. But when he scored, it was as if he'd just come on." Robin also expressed his frustration, saying, "Asians have a natural advantage in stamina. Duncan's talent has been underestimated by many, including us. Viana's departure made us complacent, but we didn't realize that it actually unlocked Duncan's potential." Van der Vaart said, "I don't know where the problem lies. If I had stayed on the field, I might have been able to do something, but my stamina has definitely become a problem I urgently need to address." Van Persie commented, "Duncan's girlfriend gave him tremendous support. No one loses in front of their beloved girl." After Hathaway arrived, Duncan was clearly on fire, unstoppable. "Don't ask me what kind of drugs he took, I don't know anything about blue pills. Hatinga, honestly, I absolutely will not watch The Princess Diaries. I hate Deng Kai now, and I don't want to pay attention to anything related to him. He's no good, he and Ronaldo disgust me, they're dishonest, they always have so many tricks up their sleeves." Deng Kai happened to walk past Hatinga, who was being interviewed, and immediately asked, "Not watching what movie again?" Hatinga, "The Princess Diaries." Deng Kai, "What diary?" Hatinga, "The Princess Diaries." Deng Kai, "Princess what?" Hatinga, "The Princess Diaries, The Princess Diaries, The Princess Diaries." Deng Kai, "Thank you." Hatinga? He felt like he'd been crushed, but he didn't know exactly why. The reporters didn't react at first, but were immediately stunned by Deng Kai's brilliant publicity tactics. Amazing. A marketing genius, right? They all abandoned Hatinga and started interviewing Deng Kai. Deng Kai, however, very politely gestured for everyone not to crowd, saying he was happy to be interviewed. Reporter, "Did Viana's injury really liberate you?" Deng Kai shook his head solemnly, "Of course not. Viana is the core of our team's midfield, and his role is irreplaceable. Losing him is a heavy blow to us." Chapter 138, Digging and Filing Holes. "We all hope he recovers quickly. Regarding my performance, extra time was a big factor. If Viana had been there, the Netherlands would have lost by even more. I only did a fraction of what Viana did." Reporters found it hard to believe that Deng Kai wasn't arrogant. Is the humility of Easterners really this terrifying? Can't they be a little more thoughtless like the British stars? This topic has absolutely no sensationalism. How are we supposed to write a headline? Reporter, "What about the center forward? How will Postiga and Almeida's injuries affect you?" Ronaldo played as a makeshift center forward in the second half, but we could all see his discomfort in that position. Deng Kai, "Yes, Ronaldo's technical characteristics make it difficult for him to achieve results as a center forward. I think Lorenzo has received too few opportunities, he is fully capable of playing that role. We should give Lorenzo enough trust." Reporter, "What about Quaresma? What do you think of his performance?" Deng Kai, "A superstar. He's an absolute superstar. Just his presence on the field is the biggest threat to the opposing players. The Dutch players know this, and it was key to our breakthrough in extra time. With Quaresma around, any teammate will feel incredibly relaxed because no one can focus on you." Reporter, "Okay, then let's talk about Hathaway. Are you two officially dating?" Deng Kai paused. "Hathaway? Oh no, where's Hathaway? Has she left? I have to go see her." Deng Kai pushed through the reporters and ran towards the stands where Hathaway was. He felt he should at least see them off since they'd come all this way. Luckily, Hathaway and Matarazzo hadn't left yet. Oh. The Portuguese players saw this and started cheering wildly. Only Ronaldo looked displeased. "Damn. That kid's really in love. Little Kai, you lied to me? This is what you meant by just friends?" With such a beautiful girlfriend, Kai's in for a rough time. Veloso shook his head and sighed next to Ronaldo. The hype-increasing secrets he'd taught Deng Kai might be losing their effectiveness. Ronaldo also realized this, his brows furrowing even deeper. Too much of that stuff, not enough nutrition, he won't grow tall. In the stands, Matarazzo looked at Deng Kai and tactfully said, "Annie, I'm going to the restroom, I'll wait for you at the door later." "Hey, don't." Hathaway was very nervous, but ultimately didn't follow Matarazzo. This revealed her true feelings. She didn't want to leave. Suddenly, with only the two of them present, Deng Kai and Hathaway were momentarily speechless. Deng Kai and Hathaway spoke simultaneously, then gestured for the other to go first. "I'll go first." Hathaway, being the older sister, mustered her courage and said, "Our scenes in the Czech Republic have wrapped, and we're heading back to the US tomorrow. I don't know the upcoming work schedule yet, but it might be very busy. If I have time, I'll watch your competition." Deng Kai thanked her for this. Regarding our situation, there were news reports before, but I guess you don't know yet." He then told Hathaway about the news. Hathaway then realized why Director Marshall had implemented a closed-off management system for the crew. Hathaway was a little flustered. "I'm sorry for causing you so much trouble. You're playing such an important match, and the media is still affecting you, really." Deng Kai shook his head generously. No, as long as it doesn't affect your filming. I have a mature understanding of the media, I have my own rhythm, and I won't be affected by their opinions, you can rest assured." Hathaway was very envious. "Your mentality is really mature. I know many friends in the entertainment industry who are troubled by the media. They even tear each other apart because of media comments, which is really terrible. I can see the wisdom that belongs to the Chinese in you." Deng Kai smiled very brightly. "This is definitely the best compliment I have heard today." Hathaway was also very happy. "Your celebration speech after scoring a goal is also the best gift I have received this year." The two chatted and laughed until, "Deng Kai, the team bus has been waiting for you for 10 minutes. If you want to run back to the dormitory, I can go over and let them go first." Ronaldo looked on with envy and jealousy in the player tunnel. Hathaway was a little embarrassed. "Sorry, I've taken up too much of your time." Deng Kai was also a little embarrassed. "No, it's just that I insisted on chatting with you for so long. Your friends from the crew must have been waiting for a while. Let me take you there." Hathaway didn't refuse. So the two of them went through the visitor passage into the basement. After Deng Kai saw Hathaway onto the crew's car, he walked towards the team bus. To punish Deng Kai, the team bus deliberately drove slowly forward, making Deng Kai chase after it. The reporters outside the parking lot laughed and took pictures like crazy. The Portuguese team is really good at creating drama. 6-3. The Portuguese team goes all out, enters the semi-finals, and aims for the championship. The Netherlands team collapses in extra time. Portuguese youngster Deng Kai scores twice and wins the man of the match, 1-4 in extra time, scoring the best goal. Portuguese-Chinese star shines in the European U17 Championship. The Avengers suffer a regrettable defeat. The Portuguese youngsters turn the tide, equalizing against the Netherlands in regular time and then launching a powerful attack in extra time, a Pyrrhic victory. Portugal U16's key player Viana and striker Almeida are injured and forced to leave the field. Without high-level substitutes, they are likely to be eliminated in the semifinals of the European U16 Championship, injury report released. Viana needs surgery and may be out for up to 5 months. Almeida will also need at least 2 months to return to the field. Portugal's core strength shattered. Where does the road lead? Cristiano Ronaldo can't play in midfield, Solo has to force his way in. The reason for Deng Kai's exceptional performance in extra time revealed. Rumored girlfriend Hathaway came to the stadium to cheer him on, confirming the relationship rumors. Shout for love. Deng Kai promotes girlfriend Hathaway's first film, The Princess Diaries. After scoring, the most beautiful moments are those of emotion. Sincerity never tires. Love can make people forget their fatigue. Deng Kai and Hathaway talked closely for half an hour in the stands after the match. Both of them smiled constantly, breaking the rules. It is reported that Deng Kai has never been late or left early, whether in training or matches, but this time he almost missed the team bus. The team bus abandoned Deng Kai. Why was the hero of the victory treated like this? It all started with a beautiful woman. News headlines flooded in, dominating the European headlines that day. The focus shifted from sports to entertainment. The popularity of Deng Kai and Hathaway soared, mutually boosting each other's profiles. The Princess Diaries is expected to wrap filming in less than a month. However, due to scheduling issues with the distribution company, it's unlikely to secure screenings this year. Originally planned for release in July or August next year, that wasn't the best time, but it wasn't bad either, giving director Marshall a lot of face. However, the current popularity of The Princess Diaries in Europe has given the distribution company a new option. Should they try releasing it this year? P.S. I hope readers from other channels can support me on Kidian, online. Any support now is very important to me. I also hope that long-time readers on Kidian will turn to the latest chapter page every day to help Peach achieve a big recommendation. Thank you. I was just joking with everyone before, but tonight Peach is going to start casting her spell. Switzerland 1-0 Cameroon, Uruguay 3-1 South Korea, Portugal 4-0 Ghana, Ronaldo hat-trick. Brazil 3-1 Serbia. Welcome everyone to join the book club to discuss novels, football, and watch matches. The book club information is on the introduction page. The answer to join is a fat peach. Chapter 139 Masterclass, Understanding Applause. It's already mid-June, and a July or August release date is likely impossible. After that, the better the release date, the fiercer the competition. But the Americans won't sit idly by if they don't capitalize on this hype. How can the world's second most business-savvy Americans tolerate such a waste of resources? Marshall, though still unsure of the film's fate, received a call from his boss as soon as he landed in the U.S., instructing him to speed up filming while maintaining quality, and to begin editing immediately afterward. Judging from his boss's tone, it seems they plan to release it before November. If the opening weekend's box office is good, the film will dominate the November box office market. Then, it can ride the wave of the Christmas season in December. Once this process is complete, it'll be hard for the box office to be low. Marshall, for the sake of his reputation, naturally agreed with great joy. On the other hand, after Deng Kai's interview was released, many people gave him trouble. Among them was Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo was resentful of Deng Kai's interview, saying he couldn't play center forward. But after Deng Kai's explanation, Ronaldo calmed down. Was it a ploy to sabotage the German? Sure, but next time you say something like "I think Ronaldo is no good," could you please add a dog emoji? To avoid being caught in the crossfire, I've already brought out my Italian cannon. Spain, who also reached the semifinals of the UEFA U16 Championship, didn't draw Portugal. Their opponent is the tournament's host, the Czech Republic. Portugal's semi-final opponent is Germany. However, during their internal analysis, the Spanish U16 team invited renowned international and Barcelona midfield maestro Pep Guardiola for comment. Guardiola and the Spanish U16 coaches clearly pointed out, "This kid is using a smokescreen, he's too cunning." He gave the interview right after the match. They narrowly defeated the Netherlands, yet he dug so many holes for himself when he should have been overjoyed. The Spanish coaches were full of question marks. Guardiola explained, here, his expression of regret over Viana's injury and his hope for Viana's recovery is a display of high emotional intelligence. It's only natural. But it's definitely not just about noble self-preservation. His real purpose is to conceal his true abilities, or as they say, play dumb to fool the enemy. He constantly emphasizes Viana's role in the team, partly to reduce the pressure on him from subsequent opponents, and partly to make people underestimate Portugal, thus causing them to be careless and underestimate their opponents. But is Viana's role in the Portuguese team truly irreplaceable? Guardiola asked pointedly. Iniesta, who had been singled out for the discussion, brightened up. Portugal has always traditionally played with a single attacking midfielder. With Viana injured, the double attacking midfielder tactic might be weakened, but Duncan can perfectly handle the single attacking midfielder role, and the team won't struggle. So, although it's hard to believe, the conclusion is that Viana's injury won't affect Portugal's core fighting power. Even if it weakens them, it'll be limited. Guardiola nodded, including Duncan's subsequent praise of Quaresma. It also hides his own threat. Everyone knows Quaresma is Portugal U16 star player, and everyone targets Quaresma. But in a single attacking midfielder system, is Quaresma really the core of this team? No, it's Duncan. Furthermore, the conclusion about whether Ronaldo can play center forward is also a smokescreen. That kid can play center forward, absolutely. If I could coach the team, I would call him immediately. even if he's 36 or 37. His attacking power, his shooting skills, especially his goal-scoring instinct. Regarding Ronaldo, I can only say my English isn't good enough to describe him. Iniesta raised his hand, but we're all Spanish, why are you using English? Guardiola was speechless. It's just a way of describing him, expressing my higher regard for him. I admit, that kid named Ronaldo doesn't seem to have much talent, and it's hard to believe he has the potential to become a superstar. But we can't deny his overwhelming performance at his current age. Quaresma draws attention, Duncan is the core attacking midfielder, and Ronaldo is the attacking striker. Add a player who can pass on the left, like a good midfielder like Meireles, and their attacking numbers are reduced, but the threat is not diminished at all. Hiss. The Spaniards gasped, having made a huge contribution to global warming. Iniesta stared in disbelief. Should we expose him? Immediately go to the media and expose Deng Kai's actions. Guardiola smiled mysteriously. So why should we help the Germans? Regardless, Portugal is short-handed. The stronger they are, the more the Germans will have to pay to beat them. Conversely, even if the Portuguese create a miracle and beat Germany, their depleted squad will only be more weakened, and will reap the benefits anyway. This advantage is on our side, it's hard to lose. Kids, finish this semi-final well, and then wait to become European champions. Applause, you understand. A thunderous applause erupted from the Spanish U16 coaching staff. Impressive. Truly a midfield maestro. Guardiola should go into pyramid schemes, or become a coach? It's a waste of his talent as a footballer. Only Iniesta seemed thoughtful. What do those four-syllable words you just described mean? Guardiola replied, these are idioms, the essence of Chinese language art, containing the wisdom of 5,000 years of history. The idiom dictionary was recommended to me by Deng Kai. It opened up a new world for me, and I can find the corresponding examples for many of my ideas in it. If you have time, you can also learn some idioms, it might help you become a better midfielder. Iniesta quickly wrote them down. That evening, Iniesta asked his family to buy him the book, his secret weapon for becoming stronger, the Chinois dictionary. Just as Guardiola mentioned, Portugal's semi-final opponent was Germany U16. This team had many acquaintances of Deng Kai. Yes, Lom, Schweinsteiger, Hitzelsperger, and others. But this German U16 team was much stronger than Bayern U15. Because the main structure of this team was Bayern U17. And there was also a Dortmund player and 3 Stuttgart players. In Germany, being called up to the national team without playing for Bayern Munich only proves you're exceptionally talented and that a Bayern contract is on its way. However, after observing this team, Deng Kai didn't see anything particularly daunting about them. The only advantage this team had over Bayern U15 was the presence of Kevin Kurani. Kurani is a classic German center forward, but his career development has consistently fallen short of expectations. His individual ability is good. In Germany, a country not known for producing outstanding strikers, Kurani was once one of the most consistent homegrown strikers. However, his career was tragically impacted by the arrival of German coach Joachim Löw. Löw's appointment signified a fundamental shift in German tactics. Forwards like Kurani, lacking finesse and ground passing ability, became victims of this change. In fact, Deng Kai believes this German U16 team puts far less pressure on them than the Dutch U16 team. Chapter 140 The Forgotten Star Player Falls. Ling. You won a match and received an SS rating. You have acquired a blue player level skill Passing Mastery. Passing Mastery slightly enhances passing ability. Your passing has a chance to convert into a shot. Passing is a special footwork technique. Basically, after the player has settled in position, they suddenly swing their leg and lob the ball. It looks similar to a lob pass. However, a lob pass mainly uses the toes to chip the ball, while a passing lob focuses more on using the entire leg to generate power, sticking the ball to the instep before throwing it. In terms of overhead height, the passing lob is far superior. Furthermore, a lob pass requires the touching foot to swing back first, while a passing lob can be completed without any pre-swinging motion, directly lifting the leg to complete the pass, making it more sudden. Players like Ronaldinho, Bruno Fernandes, and Modric frequently use this technique to create threats. A lob shot, on the other hand, increases the power of the passing lob. After the ball flies high, it experiences a downward force. Even if it doesn't score, it's still a top 10 goal. However, this skill isn't Deng Kai's biggest gain. While checking the skill, He realized he'd forgotten to claim a reward from the UEFA Youth League final. Hathaway's cries interrupted Deng Kai, who was checking the reward at that time. Only now has this precious reward finally reappeared. A star player has fallen, Gabi's red card. Gabi's red card, although never selected for the Spanish national team, Gabi is definitely a world-class, iron-willed midfielder. Tackling +2, interception +2, blocking +2, clearance +2, defensive movement +2, strength +2. 3 minutes after you say I'm angry, your defensive abilities, physical strength, and defensive skill effects will all receive a boost, but your chances of getting a card will also greatly increase. This effect can only be activated once per match. When you receive a yellow card, your individual abilities increase by 10%. When an opponent engages in a fierce confrontation with you, your first tackle will inevitably bring down the opponent and complete the interception, but you will also inevitably receive a red card. This truly lives up to Gabi's name. A double-edged sword indeed. This effect greatly improved Deng Kai's defensive stats and overall performance. I'm angry practically transformed Deng Kai into Kante within 3 minutes, making him incredibly effective defensively. It could also be used in conjunction with a yellow card bonus, turning the fearsome yellow card into a booster for Deng Kai. After all, as an attacking player, a yellow card doesn't have a huge impact, but it can increase individual ability by 10%, a huge win. However, the final effect truly tests Deng Kai's wisdom and rationality. A tackle will inevitably bring down the opponent and complete the interception. Very domineering. But it will inevitably result in a red card, which is also unavoidable. Deng Kai would never use this effect unless it's the last moment. However, it's uncertain whether he will clash with the opponent. If he clashes early, Deng Kai will be in trouble because he can't make the tackle. Gabi, your red card is very Atletico Madrid-esque. Earlier on June 20th, the match between Spain and the Czech Republic kicked off. The Czech team, relying on Sek's outstanding saves, made it to the semifinals of the European U17 Championship. A truly remarkable achievement. But this was their limit. Spain easily defeated the Czech Republic U16 2-0, advancing to the final. The focus now shifts entirely to Germany and Portugal. Headlines like, Portugal depleted, winning chance less than 20%. Germany U16 players mostly from Bayern Munich, strong teamwork, revenge a piece of fate. The Avengers will finally win. Germany will avenge the Netherlands. Viana's surgery completed, cheers for the team from his hospital bed. Almeida remains in the Czech Republic, hoping to continue supporting the team in this way. Postaga's injury improves, he might be able to make it to the final if Portugal reaches it. Spain, we're already studying Germany, they will be our final opponent. Guardiola, Portugal lacks a midfield core, apart from Quaresma, the other players are useless. Duncan is the most overrated player, he only benefits from Viana and Quaresma. If the previous news items were just typical media commentary, the sudden change of heart by Guardiola, the famous Kaká fan, has excited reporters. Hadn't Guardiola been a staunch advocate for Barcelona to sign Duncan? Why the sudden shift in his stance? Is this a case of national loyalty above all else? Or has Guardiola finally seen through Duncan's true nature and come to his senses? Having returned from injury this season and led Barcelona to their La Liga title defense, Guardiola's words carry considerable weight. In response, Deng Kai published an article in Record stating, Guardiola is an outstanding midfield maestro, but injuries are his biggest problem. Van Gaal cannot use a player who is always injured as the core of the team's midfield and defense. He needs more disciplined training and a scientifically balanced diet, even if it's a bit late. Upon hearing this, Guardiola called that very day, furious, I was clearly helping you hide the threat, so we could catch Germany off guard, and you talk about me like that in front of the media? Kid, you can forget about ever getting my autographed football again. Deng Kai wasn't intimidated, isn't helping me helping yourselves? The more trouble we cause Germany, the happier the Spanish team will be, right? Besides, Guardiola, wasn't I helping you? Did what I said make you angry? Then think carefully about what kind of words can make someone angry. Truth. Facts. Hit the nail on the head. If you can't stay healthy, then let's be honest, I think you should get your coaching license as soon as possible. I know you're arrogant, so if you can't become the world's best midfielder or defensive midfielder, then you should become the world's best coach as soon as possible. Guardiola was taken aback. How did this guy know he planned to become a coach after retiring? Guardiola felt it was too early to retire. He anticipated having nearly 10 more years in his football career. But after retiring, he would definitely choose to become a football coach. Guardiola, you haven't even truly embarked on the path to becoming a professional player. What right do you have to talk to me about a professional career? About being the world's best? Retirement? Coaching? You'll have to get past the German team first. Laughter came from Deng Kai's side. Seriously, Pep, you actually think Germany is a hurdle Portugal needs to overcome? Then you'd better teach your Spanish kids to get used to losing in the final. If their opponents are always us, then they'll always have to face defeat, again and again. Speaking of your body, you're far from as healthy as you think. I can tell from the signatures on the footballs you've sent me this year. Your handwriting is crooked and messy, you're losing your strength, your hands are starting to shake. Through your handwriting, I often wonder if you frequently wet your pants and shoes when you pee. You can't aim properly, can you? My poor Mr. Guardiola, I feel sorry for you. Chapter 141 Football Illusion, Germany is strong. Guardiola laughed loudly. Who do you think you are? Sherlock Holmes? Bao Zhang of Kai Feng? Detective D? Bah. You've spouted nonsense and you actually believe it yourself, haven't you? Then I regret to inform you that the reason the handwriting looks like that is because the footballs I sent you later were all signed by my agent. I don't have time to sign them all for you individually. I'm not going to waste that much time on you. Hey. Deng Kai almost threw his phone. Damn. No wonder several footballs have been returned by fans recently, claiming they're fake. I even argued with them. You screwed me over. Guardiola, who told you to sell the autographed footballs I gave you? Didn't you say you were my fan and wanted to collect my autographed footballs? Do you think I don't know what dirty tricks you've been up to behind the scenes? What's your shop called again? Wang Tao Autographed Jersey Store? Donkey Udi Autographed Football Factory Direct Sales Store? Do you even believe that yourself? Deng Kai, don't be so ungrateful. Do you think I don't know you just got 2 high-priced advertising offers from Lisbon? Have you even played football in Portugal before shooting ads? Wasn't your popularity built by me using autographed footballs? You interact with me so often, isn't it just to get some exposure in Portugal? Doing business requires professional ethics. Hurry up and give me a batch of genuine autographed footballs. Otherwise, the name Guardiola will become synonymous with counterfeit goods, and your future commercial value will be greatly affected. Damn. You. Guardiola, shut up. Then Guardiola called his agent. Send me 20, no, 50 footballs. Yes, I want them personally signed. Of course, I wasn't threatened. I'm just worried that Deng Kai will be discouraged after the loss, so I'm giving him some encouragement. By the way, arrange a nutritionist for me, and also find a sports medicine expert. I don't want to have any more major injuries. I want to play for Barcelona until I'm 35. June 21st. The other semi-final of the UEFA U16 Championship kicked off, Portugal U16 vs Germany U16. Before the match, it was expected to be a one-sided affair. Germany boasted a strong and well-equipped squad. Their starting lineup included Florian Heller, Kevin Kurani, Bastian Schweinsteiger, Marcus Forner, Florian Klinger, Hitzelsperger, Andres Hinkel, Michael Fink, Andreas Gullerlitz, Lom, and Kienst. Their substitutes also included talented players such as Jurgen Schmid, Leonhard Pass, and James Scrutter. In contrast, Portugal had to change their formation due to player injuries. Their starting lineup consisted of Cristiano Ronaldo, Meireles, Duncan, Quaresma, Amorim, Veloso, Ribeiro, Font, Duarte, Bisingwa, and Valle. In this 4-2-3-1 formation, Ronaldo and Meireles were not playing in their most comfortable positions, making it difficult to believe they could deliver any outstanding performances. Before the match, Violante repeatedly emphasized the tactics to the players, reiterating Deng Kai's central role on the field. From the start, the Germans launched a fierce pressing campaign. Deng Kai immediately opted to pass the ball back, attempting to circulate it in his own half. However, even with their superior numbers in defense, they were overwhelmed by the German pressure. Ultimately, Deng Kai had to launch a long ball into the German half, handing possession to the Germans. The German fans booed loudly. Deng Kai didn't even dare to engage in physical duels with the German players. Too weak. Clearly far inferior to Vienna. The German players on the field mentally set the tone for the match. We'll attack, we'll be strong, the opponent is weak, Deng Kai only knows how to kick long balls. In the third minute, Portugal regained possession. Germany launched another fierce full-court press. Full-court pressing, it's very effective, but it's often used carelessly, and when used carelessly, it's very vulnerable. True full-field pressing, whether it's high pressing or attacking pressing, requires meticulous teamwork. It demands long-term training and defined movement routes. Without proper coordination, full-field pressing, in the eyes of a skilled midfielder, is essentially riddled with holes. In an instant, Deng Kai had at least 5 or 6 excellent passing lanes in front of him, allowing for easy ball movement. Quaresma was already starting his run on the right. Deng Kai's long pass essentially initiated an attack. Bang! Deng Kai passed back to Amarin. He didn't look for Quaresma. Quaresma continued to press. Deng Kai moved laterally, providing Amarin with a passing option. Amarin passed back. Deng Kai played a one-touch pass, this time directly to Meireles on the left wing, while simultaneously making a run himself up. Meireles played a 1-2 and passed back to Deng Kai. Deng Kai received the ball and executed a quick dribbling move, shaking off the German defensive midfielder who had rushed in without any hesitation. Then, a clear path opened up before him. Deng Kai is advancing. He's reached the edge of the penalty area. The German team is pressing too hard, now there's space behind him. Deng Kai just needs a couple more dribbles before he can unleash a long-range shot. Luckily, the German defense has kept their composure. They've managed to maintain their formation and retreat in an orderly fashion. Deng Kai has stopped. The German team has no openings for him, the ball can't continue forward. He should be waiting for his teammates to catch up, and then, bang! Deng Kai suddenly stopped running, and just when everyone thought he was about to stop completely, he lifted his right foot and, without warning, completed a lob pass. Next to the German center-back, Ronaldo, who had just returned from an offside position, suddenly started running again, plunging into the penalty area. The ball fell. Ronaldo stopped with his right foot, leaned to the right, and lifted his left foot. A first-time volley. The ball hit the back of the net 1-0. Portugal had a dream start under Germany's fierce pressing. German fans were completely bewildered. We're incredibly strong. How did we suddenly concede a goal? What terrible luck. However, Guardiola, who had come specifically to gather intelligence, smiled slightly from the stands. Bad luck? How? This probably has nothing to do with luck. Whether it was Deng Kai's lobbed pass or Ronaldo's less than stellar left-footed volley, neither was simply a matter of luck. This was a testament to skill. After conceding a goal, the German U16 team's mentality shifted somewhat, but their attacking strategy remained unchanged. They indeed dominated Portugal with 72% possession. As their attack intensified, their defense instinctively rose higher, leaving a large expanse of open grass in their own half, enough to accommodate the wild-tempered Dong. In the 10th minute, Veloso dispossessed Schweinsteiger in the backfield. The German players were scrambling to win the ball over Veloso, but no one was there to mark Deng Kai's position. Veloso successfully passed a ball to Deng Kai before the German team could close in. Bang! Deng Kai, with a half-turn and no-stopping shot, unleashed a long pass. De Bruyne's intuitive passing and no-look passing were executed to perfection. Despite trailing the German center-back by more than 3 meters, Ronaldo rallied relentlessly. Ronaldo sprints. He's some distance from Goretzka and Fink, but he doesn't give up. Wow! Ronaldo is so fast. When will Portugal be able to produce Ferraris? So fast. Supercar Ronaldo just blew past Fink. Absolutely crushing speed. Goretzka tried to get close to Ronaldo, but Ronaldo ran around him. He was faster than Goretzka even when he went around. Goretzka reaching out to pull an opponent at high speed actually slows him down. Goretzka missed. Ronaldo. Only Ronaldo. He received the ball. Not a perfect stop, but it's not a big deal. This is a one-on-one opportunity. The German goalkeeper was forced to come out. Ronaldo dribbled laterally. Beautiful. He got past the goalkeeper. Easy shot. Ronaldo completes his brace. Chapter 142 Lost Points. This was a textbook example of a counter-attack. It was so fast. Deng Kai's pass, Ronaldo's run, and that final dribble past the goalkeeper really showcased his composure under pressure. What's wrong with Germany today? Their defense seemed so fragile, like it would collapse at the slightest touch. Portugal were at a disadvantage the entire time. They only tested Germany twice, and Germany couldn't withstand either test. Before the match, many people said Ronaldo couldn't adapt to the center-forward position, but it seems he has absolutely no problem. His attacking prowess is almost unmatched in this tournament. He might not be a good target man, but what does a counter-attacking team need a target man? The target man role, in essence, was developed to compensate for a midfielder's lack of creativity, ability to break down defenses, and resilience under pressure. Counter-attacking styles that don't rely on a midfield, and teams with top-class midfielders, don't need a target man. They need finishers. And Portugal falls into both categories. 14th minute. It's clear the German team is somewhat confused, they don't yet know where the problem lies. They've contained Quaresma very well. Portugal's right flank was virtually devoid of any threat. However, Deng Kai and Meireles executed a series of passes on the left, bringing the ball past midfield. With left-back Ribeiro making a run forward, Portugal had a chance to cross from the byline. However, Lom closely marked Ribeiro, who, unable to find an opening in a one-on-one situation, passed the ball back to Meireles, who then passed it back to Deng Kai on the left flank. Bang! Deng Kai unleashed a cross from the left. Cristiano Ronaldo attempted a run into the penalty area. Everyone's attention was on Deng Kai. Because of this cross, he was bound to find the center forward, right? Swish. The ball didn't fly high, but Deng Kai's pass was powerful, fast, and with a significant curve. This kind of pass was completely unsuitable for a header from the center forward. Instead, the far post. Quaresma suddenly surges forward, unmarked at the far post. Quaresma, without controlling the ball, unleashes a first-time outside of the foot chip shot. The German defenders have only just finished turning their heads. No one can stop Quaresma, his outside of the foot shot is too precise, a perfect shot from a tight angle. 3-0. Is Portugal really that strong? 3 goals in 9 minutes. They've turned their semi-final opponent, Germany, into Poland that can't even get out of the group stage. It feels like Portugal didn't have it this easy against the Netherlands last round, right? Oh. Unbelievable. Deng Kai has completed an assist hat-trick without anyone noticing. This feels like a fairy tale. So far, although he's appeared on camera quite a few times, he hasn't done many eye-catching plays. If it weren't for the data, I wouldn't even be able to tell which one is Deng Kai, which one is Amorim, or which one is Veloso. Aren't they just doing ordinary receiving and passing? Can Germany really beat this Portuguese team? Why were the pre-match predictions so one-sided? This strong team shouldn't be underestimated at all. Many commentators were bewildered. Germany's defeat was hard to accept. But while fans could break down, the players couldn't. With the help of their coach and players like Lom, Germany stabilized the game by tightening their formation. They stopped their high-pressing, aggressive style. They no longer tried to overwhelm Portugal with a barrage of attacks. They just wanted to calm down. They relinquished possession to the Portuguese and retreated. Klinger, you keep an eye on that Duncan, whatever he does. The German coach was perhaps the first to grasp the situation. He saw the key to Portugal's formation. Sure enough, Portugal stopped making those decisive, incisive passes. Although Germany lost possession, their situation was actually much better than before. When they fully recovered and adapted, that would be their time to fight back. From this perspective, the German U16 team was at least a well-trained squad. Their execution of the coach's tactics was extremely high, and they followed orders without question. In the 21st minute, Meireles and Robben and Ribéry penetrated down the left flank and scored. Robben and Ribéry crossed a ball. Ronaldo's header went wide. Germany had a tall, imposing squad, so even if Ronaldo managed to win the header, he struggled to generate power. In the 28th minute, Meireles made a feint on the left flank and passed the ball diagonally to the on-rushing Amorim, who unleashed a long-range shot, a classic case of a bow and arrow aimed only at a giant. During this period, Portugal's attacks were mainly concentrated on the left flank, orchestrated by Meireles. Deng Kai, heavily marked by the Germans, had very few touches, seemingly frozen out, much like the workhorse Veloso. Veloso, watch your mouth. I'm a defensive midfielder, so fewer touches are understandable. But for some players to be key players and not get any touches is a bit much. Deng Kai? In the 36th minute, Quaresma broke through on the right flank, ultimately winning a free kick. During the ensuing corner kick, Font fouled Gurlitz, who was defending him, while challenging for the ball. Meanwhile, Portugal relentlessly attacked Germany. The German coach, holding a thick stack of statistics and analysis sheets, waited to give his players instructions at halftime. Trailing by 3 goals, seemingly in dire straits, the Germans never play a game they're sure of winning. There was a great opportunity. In the 42nd minute, Ronaldo, struggling in the penalty area, withdrew. Being a center forward is tough. Often, you're not given in the shot. But the opposing center backs will see you. They'll follow you most of the time, making physical contact. A push while running, a shove when you meet. Endless small actions and friction. Even the tough-skinned Ronaldo couldn't withstand it. As soon as Ronaldo came out, Deng Kai immediately made a forward run, using Ronaldo's movement to temporarily shake off Klinger, who was marking him. Ronaldo could succeed even in basketball, because he executed a good screen. Quaresma successfully dribbled past his opponent on the wing and spotted Deng Kai's run, delivering a low cross. Knowing Deng Kai's short stature, he aimed for a low cross. Such crosses are difficult to handle, and Deng Kai was no exception. However, before Deng Kai could even consider how to handle the situation, he was brought down by German center-back Fink. Fink, failing to mark Deng Kai and worried about him receiving the cross, used both hands and feet to push him down. The referee immediately blew his whistle. Penalty. And Fink received a yellow card. German fans were even considering leaving the stadium. 3 goals down, and now a penalty? How could they play this game? The German players immediately surrounded the referee, arguing that it was normal physical contact and that Deng Kai was diving. But the referee ignored them all. The hot-tempered Hitzelsberger even received a yellow card for his overly aggressive words. He was furious. Back in the UEFA Youth League, at least the gap between them and Sporting Lisbon wasn't that big. Both teams had gone into extra time. How come Deng Kai and Ronaldo can already dominate the German U16 team in just 2 or 3 months? Then, Quaresma took the penalty kick. Bang! Oh! It didn't go in. The ball hit the post and bounced out. Quaresma. This shouldn't be happening. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143 I Choose to Forgive. Wait, what is Deng Kai complaining about to the referee? A retake? The referee signals for another penalty. A player committed a foul. It's Hitzelsberger. He entered the penalty area prematurely. Deng Kai has been watching the penalty area closely. He's really cunning. Deng Kai is exchanging words with Quaresma. He seems to be encouraging him. Okay, Quaresma is preparing to take the penalty again. Goal. Goal. Quaresma scores his second penalty. 4-0. Portugal has ended the match an hour early. The German players have lost their spirit. They've been completely bewildered once more. Because of the high number of goals, the first half had a full 4 minutes of added time. This was torture for the German team. Portugal easily passed the ball around in midfield, and Germany didn't press. Just as the added time was about to end, Deng Kai, positioned deep, delivered a powerful through ball that sliced through the grass, completely piercing the German defense. The German players paid the price for their passivity. They weren't far from the ball's trajectory, and if they were in good form, many of them would have had a chance to disrupt it. But now, they were all just a tiny bit away from the ball. Ronaldo started. Ronaldo fell. Ronaldo. Klinger tackled Ronaldo. The referee then blew his whistle. Klinger received Germany's third yellow card. He didn't argue, got up and walked towards the penalty area, knowing his action would definitely get him a card. There was nothing to say. It was a free kick in an excellent position, perfect for a direct shot from either side or at any distance. Quaresma happily ran down the right wing, ready to take the free kick. A hat-trick seemed to be beckoning him. But halfway there, he stumbled, his shoe came off. Quaresma frowned slightly. Many football players are quite superstitious. Or rather, they need some psychological suggestion. This suggestion can make you more determined and more confident. But sometimes it can have the opposite effect, making you confused and fearful. Quaresma felt this was a hint from God. He'd already missed a penalty. This free kick, he figured he wouldn't score. So, after Quaresma tied his shoelaces, he walked over to Deng Kai and whispered in his ear, "Why don't you take this free kick?" Deng Kai was a little surprised. Even in a club, this kind of authority wouldn't be easily shared. Let alone in a temporary, Makeshift team like the national team. Quaresma knows his stuff. No wonder future big brother Simeo and Ronaldo had a falling out, but Quaresma was always considered a close friend by Ronaldo. He really needs to read the book Emotional Intelligence. As Quaresma voluntarily moved away from the ball, the commentator exclaimed excitedly, "Oh! Quaresma gave the free kick to Deng Kai? That's a hat-trick opportunity." Quaresma's free kicks are very accurate. He scored directly from a free kick in the second game. Such noble character. The unity of the Portuguese team is refreshing. With this kind of team atmosphere, no wonder they made it to the semifinals. Hey, why is Ronaldo walking towards Deng Kai? In the footage, when the referee signaled that the free kick was possible, Ronaldo walked towards Deng Kai. Deng Kai knew what Ronaldo meant. He wanted to cover for him. But the next moment, Deng Kai had a flash of inspiration and winked at Ronaldo. Ronaldo understood immediately. These soul-searching friends often know what the other person means with just a glance. So, Ronaldo came over and loudly said to Deng Kai, "Let me take this ball." Deng Kai shook his head. Ronaldo kept explaining and even held up two fingers, seemingly indicating that he had already scored twice and was just one goal away from a hat-trick. Everyone then remembered that this was Ronaldo's first chance to complete a hat-trick with the national youth team. His excitement was understandable. However, Deng Kai kept shaking his head, his emotions even becoming agitated. The two began to push each other. This momentarily stunned the Portuguese fans in the stands. This, plastic brotherhood? The Sporting Lisbon twins really have a conflict. People can share hardship, but not prosperity. Is CD about to break? Finally, with a burst of force from Deng Kai, Ronaldo was pushed away. Many people were surprised by this. They thought Deng Kai would be the one pushed away. Bang! Deng Kai poked the ball. The ball rolled in the direction Ronaldo was pushed back, and Ronaldo suddenly turned and accelerated while retreating. The German team's wall was positioned against Deng Kai. And now Ronaldo was closer to the penalty area and further to the right, completely avoiding the wall. Stop him. He's going to shoot. It's him. Lam and others reacted and quickly warned. Players in the wall ran towards Ronaldo. But they were always a step too late. Bang! The ball found its mark, and Ronaldo unleashed a powerful shot. He completed a world-class strike from just outside the penalty area, with absolutely no obstruction. The ball found its way into the net from a perfect angle, almost perfectly positioned at the 10th of the way down. Ronaldo's shooting prowess is truly remarkable. Goal. Goal. Beautiful free kick. Deng Kai and Ronaldo feigned an argument. Deng Kai pushed Ronaldo aside while passing him the ball, and Ronaldo unleashed a powerful shot that looked like a shooting drill. 5-0. Ronaldo completes his hat-trick. This is his first hat-trick for the national team. He has played 5 games for the team in this tournament so far, scoring 6 goals. His efficiency is terrifying. Also, let's congratulate Deng Kai. This is his 4th assist of the game. This is also his first 4-assist game for the Portuguese youth team. Unexpectedly, in the last second of the first half, the German team suffered another blow. I believe that this score is beyond what tactics can salvage. The German team only has one task in the second half, which is to prevent Portugal from scoring again, otherwise the score will be too ugly, and these kids will lose their faith in football. The game then went into halftime. Vieira's smile never stopped in the locker room. He'll probably have sore cheeks tomorrow. He mainly emphasized health issues to everyone. Portugal cannot afford any more injuries. Quaresma, Ronaldo, Duncan, Meireles, and others received extra instructions. They have virtually no substitutes. Duncan also suggested to Vieira that these players could be substituted earlier. After all, no one has ever lost a game with a 5-0 lead. Barcelona? Paris? Vieira accepted Duncan's suggestion. Second half. Duncan almost disappeared, moving to the defensive midfield position. He let the versatile midfielder Amorim go up more to support the team. Amorim was visibly unhappy, inwardly cursing. This Duncan is a real jerk. You're afraid of getting injured, but I'm not, huh? The key moment was when Vieira noticed Deng Kai's unauthorized position switch and actually gave him a thumbs up. His expression practically screamed, "Yes, Deng Kai, you did the right thing. You need to protect yourself. Let Amorim take the tackles. Let Amorim absorb the damage for you." This left Amorim to bear the brunt of the German player's anger for Deng Kai, feeling incredibly resentful. In the 50th minute, Ronaldo was brought down by a German player. Violent immediately substituted Lorenzo for Ronaldo. In the 52nd minute, Deng Kai, after a period of inactivity, passed a ball to right back Basingwa, who then ran down the wing and combined with Quaresma to cut inside. Quaresma then passed the ball back, and Amarin, who had been positioned far forward, arrived in time, seemingly betraying his former allies, and unleashed a long-range shot to score. 6-0. After scoring, Amarin immediately turned and rushed towards Deng Kai, overjoyed. Deng Kai is awesome. Thank you, Deng Kai, for making this possible. Deng Kai's the best. If Deng Kai hadn't switched positions without permission, how could Amarin have gotten such a good long-range shooting opportunity? His job doesn't allow him to be in that area often. When it comes to the ball, he's a hero. Amarin, of course, chose to forgive. The entertainment round is over, it's the second round, now it's time for Peach to show his true strength. Wales and Iran drew, Senegal beat Qatar, Netherlands narrowly beat Ecuador, England beat the USA. Chapter 144 Youth Champions League Enhanced Edition. In the 55th minute, Violent substituted Quaresma with substitute right-winger Luis Lourenço. Although Quaresma didn't complete his hat-trick, his 2 goals and 1 assist were enough to satisfy him. He walked to the bench amidst applause from the fans. Portugal continued to make substitutions, and Germany naturally knew their chance to counter-attack had arrived. In the 62nd minute, Schweinsteiger passed back to his club teammate Hitzelsperger, who then played a through ball. German striker Kurane unleashed a powerful shot to score, making the score 1-6. It was as if they hadn't even managed to pull one back. In the 70th minute, as Germany's attack gradually improved, the physicality between the two sides intensified. Deng Kai promptly reminded his teammates to retreat and not to contest the ball with the Germans, to avoid unforeseen injuries. This observation and control of the game earned Violent's repeated nods on the sidelines. Bringing Deng Kai along was definitely the best decision he made in this European U16 tournament. In the 77th minute, Deng Kai suddenly pressed forward in the backfield and delivered a precise long pass. Meireles dribbled down the wing, winning a corner and taking it. Portuguese centre-back Philippe Thiago headed the ball into the net. 7-1. Germany suffered another blow. At the moment of conceding, almost all the German players looked at Deng Kai. Weren't you supposed to be not attacking? What happened with that sudden interception and long pass? Playing dirty? Facing the questions from Lam and others, Deng Kai smiled and walked towards the sidelines. Violent substituted Deng Kai with Igor. Deng Kai had 8 assists, dominating the UEFA U16 Championship assist charts. In the 86th minute, Lam dribbled inside from the right and assisted Schweinsteiger to score. 2-7. This was also the final score of the match. Germany U16 suffered an unprecedented defeat. Portugal U16, repeatedly thrashing strong teams, shocked the world. After the match, the German U16 players refused to give interviews. But their head coach couldn't escape the reporters' attention. I don't understand. I've never seen football like this before. It shatters my understanding of traditional football. Deng Kai is a phenomenal player. Ronaldo's finishing ability is terrifying. Quaresma is simply unstoppable. Meireles is like an engine on the wing. Veloso is like an impenetrable wall. Every single one of their players looks so strong. You can't say whether the game made them this way, or whether they are naturally like this and that's why the game turned out that way. On the field, the Portuguese players were also being interviewed. Cristiano Ronaldo, I was in great form today. If I hadn't been substituted, I could have scored even more goals. But I also know I need to prepare for the final. Completing a hat-trick is the happiest thing for me so far. It's a dream come true to achieve this in my first time playing for the national youth team. Today, I felt like the opponent's goal was as vast as the ocean, and of course, this was also thanks to Deng Kai's brilliant pass. We had such great understanding. Yes, I'm talking about that free kick. We had never practiced anything like that before, but at that moment, we both knew what to do. It's indescribable. I don't think anyone else in the world has the same level of understanding as us. The reporters nodded in agreement, then asked, really? Even Hathaway and Deng Kai couldn't do it? Ronaldo angrily slammed down the microphone and stormed off. When Quaresma was asked why he deliberately gave up the free kick, he naturally didn't reveal his superstitious beliefs. I knew Deng Kai was in good form in this game, so I wanted him to give it a try. I'm not someone who doesn't know how to share the ball. I'm very willing to cooperate if my teammates need it. Reporter, and what about Deng Kai and Ronaldo's free kick combination afterwards? Quaresma, that was so interesting, it was a very memorable tactical free kick. If I have the opportunity, I hope I can participate in it next time. Finally, Deng Kai, surrounded by the most reporters, received superstar treatment. He provided 4 assists, beating Ronaldo's hat-trick to win the Man of the Match award. Reporter, you played an incredible masterpiece. The 5-0 lead in the first half was insane. Can you tell us how you did it? Deng Kai shook his head. To be honest, we don't know how it all happened. I felt like I struggled a lot, and many times I was forced to disappear. But my teammates were incredibly good at seizing opportunities. Reporter, you're still so humble. What are your expectations for the final? Deng Kai became slightly more serious. Now that we've made it to the final, our goal is of course the championship. The reporters were stunned. Deng Kai's behavior was so different. It was like saying no, no while simultaneously showing yes, yes, yes through his actions. Reporter, have you studied this Spanish U16 team? They've maintained a perfect record so far, including the group stage. Deng Kai smiled. Of course I'm very familiar with them. There are several players I recognize on this team. In fact, this European U16 championship has surprised me. Because I found some familiar faces in various teams. The Dutch 4 young talents, the Bayern Munich trio, and Sek from the Czech Republic. Without exception, they've all lost to me. Then I looked at the Spanish team's lineup, and wouldn't you say it, Torres and Gabi. I think God has already told everyone the answer. Reporter, are you talking about the UEFA Youth League? Deng Kai said, yes. It has to be admitted that the level of the UEFA Youth League is far higher than people initially expected. The stars who shone in the UEFA Youth League have unsurprisingly also performed brilliantly in this European U16 championship. Teams with them as the core or main players have also achieved good results, reaching the knockout stage, the semi-finals, and even the final. Therefore, as UEFA Youth League champions, Ronaldo and I are confident of defeating the Spanish U16. Some journalists favoring Spain disagreed. Spain is different from other teams. Teams like the Netherlands, Germany, and the Czech Republic do indeed revolve around several U15 stars. But the real core player of this Spanish U16 team is Barcelona's Iniesta, and many players from Barcelona's U16 and U17 teams. They are far stronger than the Atletico Madrid U15 team you encountered before. Deng Kai, but this Portuguese U16 team, besides me and Ronaldo, also has Quaresma, Meireles, Font, and other even better players. Soon, Deng Kai's interview made headlines. Not because his words were particularly sensational, but because UEFA was very satisfied with Deng Kai's remarks. After the unprecedented success of the inaugural U15 UEFA Youth League, UEFA had received numerous requests to continue the series. The number of sponsors far exceeded their expectations. Deng Kai's comments once again highlighted the prestige of the Youth League. The key players in the Youth League were also among the best performers in the UEFA U16 Championship. This relationship is similar to that of the Champions League in the European Championship. Outstanding players in the Champions League are destined to become leaders in the European Championship. However, UEFA has received some other feedback. For example, some believe that the players in the U15 level of the UEFA Youth League are too young, resulting in relatively fewer fans. Furthermore, even after achieving fame, players at this stage often struggle to immediately connect with professional clubs, significantly reducing fan enthusiasm. Fans want to see players who excel in the Youth League join top clubs and gain mainstream recognition within a year or two, allowing them to experience the thrill of instant fame firsthand. Therefore, UEFA is discussing this possibility. The second edition of the Youth League this year may not be held at the U15 level, but rather at the U17 or U19 level. Following this announcement, more sponsors have emerged, as this would also expand the Youth League's influence from the UEFA U17 Championship to the more widely followed UEFA U19 Championship. Chapter 145 The Battle of Spain and Portugal. Make sure to drink some brown sugar ginger soup after getting caught in the rain. I'll send you the recipe, have your family prepare some. You're most likely to catch a cold after filming in the rain. I'm fine here. I might have a tactical meeting later. Okay, thanks for the blessing. I'll definitely do my best. As Deng Kai hung up the phone with a sweet, intimate tone, Ronaldo, Pinching his nose, imitated Deng Kai and Hathaway's tone, "I have a tactical meeting later. You should go rest first, ugh." Deng Kai threw a slipper at him. "You still dare to say there's nothing between you two?" Ronaldo threw the slipper back. Deng Kai laughed, "It's just a normal and polite greeting. I can't just hang up immediately when someone calls, can I? That's not my style." Veloso happened to come out of the dormitory at this moment. "Kai, I just called you. Why did you hang up immediately after I said my name?" Ronaldo looked at the somewhat embarrassed Deng Kai. "Come on, let's hear your excuse." "Sorry, Veloso, your opening line makes it hard for me to believe you're not a scam call." Deng Kai spread his hands, repeating Veloso's first words after the call connected. "Kai, can you lend me some money? My dad seems to have moved to another club, my phone is out of credit, and I can't reach him. Top up my account, I'll pay you back double later." Cristiano Ronaldo looked puzzled. "Is there a problem with that?" Deng Kai was incredulous. "My God, your level of anti-fraud awareness is really hard for scammers in northern Myanmar not to be tempted. You really should learn some anti-fraud knowledge, otherwise you'll get scammed sooner or later." Deng Kai then topped up Veloso's account with €1,000. Veloso was dumbfounded. "This didn't need to be so much? Remember to pay me back double, okay?" Deng Kai assured him he would never miss such a 100% return on investment. After Veloso and his father communicated, everyone learned that Benfica's first-team captain and starting right-back, Antonio Veloso, had transferred to Porto. This dealt a heavy blow to Benfica. There are only 3 giants in the Portuguese league: Sporting Lisbon, Porto, and Benfica. Top players mostly move between these 3 clubs. This has led to frequent disputes among the 3 clubs over player transfers. No one wants their player to be on the side of their arch-rival next season. Antonio took on the label of a traitor for his son, which deeply moved Veloso. "I will definitely repay my father with my best performance on the field." Veloso cried with emotion. Deng Kai also encouraged the father and son, "Go for it, Veloso, you must try to enter the Portuguese national team before your father retires. That way you will be a rare pair of national team players from one club, father and son playing together." Deng Kai said casually. But Veloso remembered these words firmly. He was greatly motivated by them and found his first real motivation for playing football besides his love for it. Afterwards, everyone went to a tactical meeting. Violante brought in Trigura to help. They analyzed the strength and playing style of the Spanish U16 team in detail. The conclusion was that Spain's passing game had to be stifled. "We only have 2 options, either go deep and defend, playing this game with the attitude of a draw," Trigura said, "or press high throughout the game to gain an early advantage, and then go deep." Let alone Portugal U16. Even the full Portuguese national team couldn't possibly press another team for 90 minutes straight. No team in the world has that kind of stamina. However, Deng Kai expressed concern about this tactic. Spanish players have excellent passing skills. Their midfield trio is all from Barcelona, and their understanding is superb. Most of the other players are also from Barca or Real Madrid. It's possible to hold on for the entire game, but a specific defensive plan is needed. Trigura asked, "For example?" Deng Kai replied, "For example, we can combine pressing and dropping deep. You just mentioned the results of Barcelona's youth team this season. They scored their first goal in the second half in more than half of their matches. This shows they encountered strong resistance, but ultimately they couldn't hold on. I think this is related to the fact that they were given too much space to hold the ball. When the ball is in their half, we should drop deep and not let them easily pull it out. We need to ensure the stability of our midfield and defense. But when they bring the ball across halfway, our midfielders and forwards should take the initiative, increase the pace of the challenges and tackling, and put pressure on them. They should either pass back or lose possession. We can't give them an environment where they can easily handle the ball in our half, otherwise they can completely break through our entire defense with exquisite passing combinations." Deng Kai's words provided a concrete entry point for Trigura's drop-and-shoot tactic. Violante then analyzed the situation carefully with Trigura and summarized a set of tactics for pressing in their own half. This involved actively pressing in their own half to limit Spain's attack. It was defensive, but proactive. This was completely different from the traditional drop-and-shoot strategy. The team then practiced this defensive tactic. Several problems arose. Because the players actively pressing were essentially out of position, if they couldn't get the ball back or make a tackle, the opponent could exploit their positional lapses. Therefore, Other players needed to address this vulnerability. At the same time, Viorant emphasized fouls, encouraging everyone not to be afraid of yellow cards. However, players receiving yellow cards must control themselves and avoid getting a red card. June 23. On the eve of the Spain-Portugal match, the Spanish team gave an interview. The young Barcelona star, Iniesta, displayed the composure of a seasoned general. "We have absolute confidence in our midfield. We will control the tempo of the game and become the dominant force. We have enough patience to slowly hunt down Portugal. We have extensive experience breaking down Portugal's defensive tactics in the league. This is something we excel at." Which Portuguese players are we worried about? Quaresma, he's an absolute superstar, no one can underestimate him. Ronaldo is also a problem, his speed could be a threat. Deng Kai's an excellent midfielder, but a midfielder without the ball at his feet can hardly unleash his full potential, so he's not on our radar. However, when the game actually started, it became clear that Iniesta was lying. Because when Deng Kai finally managed to get the ball, Barcelona midfielder Arteta immediately fouled him. Deng Kai was clearly the player the Spanish national team feared most. Chapter 146 From Drowsy to Exhilarated. Hello radio viewers, this is Wang Jiangxiang. You are watching the U16 UEFA European Under-16 Championship final held in the Czech Republic this year. The two teams facing off are Spain U16 and Portugal U16. Spain is fielding a 4-3-3 formation. The forwards are Jorge Perona from Barcelona, Ernesto Gomez from Real Madrid, and Torres from Atletico Madrid. Torres is the most watched rising star in attack. He led Atletico Madrid U15 to the final of the inaugural UEFA Youth League this year, winning the bronze boot. Of course, the team that defeated Torres today is Sporting Lisbon U15, led by Deng Kai and Cristiano Ronaldo. Spain's midfield is very distinctive, arguably the strongest midfield combination in this year's European Under-16 Championship. It's a midfield duo entirely from Barcelona's youth academy. Led by Barcelona's once-in-20 years midfield prodigy Iniesta, with Barcelona's young midfield artist Arteta as his partner. Because both players are attacking midfielders, Spain has paired them with Gabi from Atletico Madrid as their defensive midfielder. Gabi's defensive abilities are outstanding, and his playing style is relatively tough, which can compensate for some of the weaknesses of this Spanish team. The Spanish team's backline consists of Real Madrid's Corrales, Barcelona's Nami, Real Madrid's Ruben Gonzalez, and Valencia's Diego Allegri. The goalkeeper is Barcelona's youth academy prodigy, Pepe Reina, and the backup goalkeeper is also Barcelona's Victor Valdés, who is considered Reina's equal. Both goalkeepers are very talented and are in no way inferior to the Czech goalkeeper Petr Cech, who has performed exceptionally well in this year's European U16 Championship. Wang Jiangxiang did his best to explain the lineup to domestic fans. Because the domestic understanding of foreign youth academy players is too limited. Because, to put it bluntly, apart from a very few short players, the rest of these players would be qualified to play in a top league in China. With Torres and Ronaldo on the field, wouldn't they be unstoppable? There's good news for Portugal too. Their previously injured starting striker, Postiga, has recovered and is back in action. This brings Portugal's lineup back to its original form. However, their formation in this match is more like a 4-2-1-3, with Meireles playing deeper, clearly taking on some defensive responsibilities. Deng Kai is the lone attacking midfielder. It seems his performance in the last match has earned everyone's trust. He's well suited to this position. For the first 5 minutes, aside from the initial possession by Portugal, the ball remained at the feet of the Spanish players after Deng Kai was fouled and dispossessed by Arteta. Their short passing and penetration were extremely patient. Following Trigueira's tactics, Portugal launched a full-court press in the early minutes, attempting to intimidate Spain. However, Spain's ball control far exceeded expectations. Portugal not only failed to win the ball but also allowed Iniesta to exploit a weakness. Iniesta feinted a pass and made a dangerous run, creating a threat as he advanced. He then passed the ball to Torres. Torres received the ball in the penalty area and, with a single touch, found his striker teammate, Ernesto Gomez. This goal almost completely tore through Portugal's defense. Fortunately, Gomez stumbled slightly, allowing Font to poke the ball away. Vale collected it in time. Both sets of fans were thrilled by this encounter. But neither set of fans expected this to be the most exciting moment of the first half. For the next 30 minutes, Spain kept passing the ball around in their own half. They wanted to pull Portugal out of the box. But the Portuguese team, already terrified, refused to come out. They couldn't afford to. When Spain brought the ball into the opponent's half, the Portuguese players, who had previously let them play freely, suddenly launched aggressive pressing. Postiga, Ronaldo, Duncan, and even Quaresma all fouled Spanish players during the defensive play. Coincidentally, the referee's standards were relatively lenient today. Under this defensive pressure, the Spanish players could only pass the ball back. For a full half hour, there wasn't a single truly threatening attack. Anyone watching this kind of game would fall asleep. In the 40th minute, Spain once again put the ball into Portugal's half. Ronaldo immediately began pressing. Deng Kai, in coordination with Ronaldo, successfully dispossessed Arteta. However, before Deng Kai could pass the ball, Gabi, who had followed up, intercepted it again. Gabi passed back to Arteta, who suddenly launched a through ball to Torres, who had dropped back to receive it. Torres received the ball and backheeled it to Iniesta, while simultaneously turning and making a forward run. Iniesta, without controlling the ball, flicked it down, and the ball flowed smoothly to Torres' feet. The Spanish short passing combination pierced the Portuguese defense. 1-on-1. Facing the on-rushing Vale, Torres, with skill and daring, deftly dribbled past Vale and then slotted the ball into the net 1-0. The Spanish team, in their most familiar style, crushed the Portuguese. Wang Jiangxiang shook his head repeatedly. There's nothing we can do. Portugal has done the best they could. But Spain's passing is truly unstoppable. Their teamwork and football philosophy are incredibly advanced. Of course, I hope domestic football doesn't blindly imitate this. This kind of tactic requires players to have strong individual abilities. Every player on this team has excellent passing ability. Even the seemingly rough around the edges Gabi was the absolute midfield core of Atletico Madrid U15. He's a player who can execute intricate moves. Portugal is in trouble now. They'll have a hard time getting possession from Spain. They'll just be pulled out of position by Spain, giving them more opportunities. Unless a superstar steps up for Portugal, the game is practically over from this point on. As if to confirm Wang Jiangxiang's words, the Spanish controlled the ball for the next few minutes, while the Portuguese surged forward. In the 45th minute, Postiga, Ronaldo, and Duncan double-teamed Iniesta. Iniesta lobbed the ball to Arteta, but the future Arsenal manager miscontrolled it, and the ball bounced slightly wide. Deng Kai turned and slid in with a tackle. Arteta had a chance to clear the ball first, but Deng Kai tackled him instead. As the leading team, there was no need to fight tooth and nail with the trailing team. Even if Deng Kai gained possession, what could he do? Bang! The ball was tackled away by Deng Kai. Postiga, who had been pressing, received the ball and made a clean long pass to the right wing. Quaresma received the ball on the right and skillfully dribbled past his opponent, then began his cut-in. Is chapter 147 the end? No, this is just the beginning. Spain's backline was wide open, and Quaresma only needed to face one centre-back while cutting inside. Finally, the Portuguese superstar unleashed his signature move, a shot with the outside of his foot. Spanish centre-back Nami blocked his own goalkeeper Reina's view, and by the time Reina saw the shot, the ball was already arcing. Reina desperately tried to save it, but the ball still bypassed his defenses. Goal. A superstar. This is an absolute superstar. Quaresma scored a golden goal, so important for Portugal. He deserves his price tag and special treatment. He gave Portugal another chance. If they hadn't scored this goal, Portugal would have been sitting ducks, completely at Spain's mercy. Arteta just made a small mistake, related to being fouled several times in Portugal's half. His foot must have felt some impact. From now on, barring any surprises, Portugal won't leave their own half again. They might focus on penalties. Wang Jiangxiang really knows football. Because this is exactly what Vibrant emphasized during halftime. Defense, defense, and more defense. When you clearly know you can't win, a draw is actually a good result. Lower your expectations, that might actually create an opportunity. Because the stronger Spanish team obviously can't accept a draw. Spain's substitute goalkeeper, Valdez, shook his head slightly. He thought Reina's reaction was too slow, which was why he didn't save the ball. If it were him, he felt he could have saved it. He always felt that in terms of reaction speed, he was superior to Reina. But Reina's physical attributes were better, so both his club and the national youth team had suppressed him. He lacked an opportunity. The second half. After 10 minutes of tedious passing, the Spanish team became impatient. They began frequently entering the Portuguese half, only to encounter a new round of aggressive pressing. In the 67th minute, Postiga knocked down Arteta. 2 minutes earlier, he had just pulled down Gabi. After getting up, Arteta argued with Postiga, and the referee warned Postiga. If he continued to disrupt Spain's attacking opportunities with such low-skilled moves, he would receive a card. Postiga helplessly shrugged, but didn't take it to heart. He knew the game was about to end, and it would be a waste for him to be sent off without a card. Viorent had specifically emphasized to him at halftime that he would be substituted around the 70th minute because his stamina wouldn't be able to support him continuing to press Spain at a high intensity after that. Sure enough, the referee's warning seemed to serve as a reminder. In the 70th minute, even after Iniesta had clearly passed the ball, Postiga didn't stop and continued charging forward, using both hands and feet to bring Iniesta down. Iniesta was in pain, cursing inwardly. He knew the Portuguese were shameless, but he didn't expect them to be this shameless. At this moment, Gabi rushed over and directly collided with Postiga. Both were strong and physically imposing players, and they immediately clashed. Deng Kai immediately went over to pull Postiga away, also cursing inwardly. Damn, those Spanish players are so cunning, trying to use this foul to get Postiga sent off with a red card. If they succeeded, Portugal would be in trouble. Sure enough, Gabi wouldn't let it go and wanted to cause more trouble. Arteta also reacted and surrounded Postiga. Fortunately, Ronaldo received a signal from Deng Kai and stepped in to block Arteta and Gabi. Although Ronaldo was a year or two younger, his physique was no weaker than theirs. Although he was afraid of physical confrontation, Ronaldo was willing to fight for Deng Kai. Ugh! Who the hell wants to fight for him? He already has other dogs outside. Hathaway, who the hell are you calling a jerk? She's clearly Kaká's sweet little kitten. The referee blew his whistle and showed Postiga a yellow card. But Iniesta and others clearly disagreed and demanded a red card. Deng Kai, Ronaldo, and Quaresma immediately went to defend the referee, and the two sides argued for a while. If this kind of standard continues, this game will inevitably have problems sooner or later. Iniesta threatened the referee, but he was telling the truth. So you're trying to make the referee's calls inconsistent? Just because you can't handle the intensity of the current game? Then you should go work out, lift weights, instead of lecturing the referee. Deng Kai retorted to Iniesta. Then they were both signaled to mute by the referee. Say another word and I'll give you a yellow card. Iniesta walked away sullenly. The game started to get very heated. In the 72nd minute, the entire Portuguese team was holed up in their own half. Spain passed the ball a little, but immediately passed it back. Ronaldo pressed the ball as the opponent approached. As a result, the opponent made a series of passes around Ronaldo, making him look like a monkey. Ronaldo couldn't hold back and angrily threw his hands up. Even knowing his team was going to stay in the box, when he was clearly being humiliated, he still couldn't help but want to rush out and fight. You're like a stray dog. Gabi shouted at Ronaldo after passing the ball. Cristiano Ronaldo glared at Gabi, then stepped back. In the 74th minute, Iniesta challenged Postiga, who, already on a yellow card, hesitated to make any overly aggressive tackles. Using Postiga's cover, Iniesta got a passing opportunity, finding Torres on the right wing. Torres' cross was headed away by Font. Viorent immediately made a substitution. Substitute striker Lorenzo replaced Postiga. Iniesta was devastated. A completely new defensive striker had come on. He was even faster than Postiga. Damn. Yes, Lorenzo hadn't intended to score. The Portuguese were determined to go to penalties. Time continued to tick. The Spaniards grew increasingly impatient. They were also more easily provoked by the Portuguese fouls. In the 76th minute, Gabi received the ball. Having waited a while for this opportunity, Ronaldo slid in and tackled Gabi to the ground. Who's acting like a stray dog now? Ronaldo said to Gabi as they rolled on the ground. Gabi and Ronaldo immediately began wrestling on the ground. The two wrestled and grappled. Players from both sides rushed over, initiating a new round of confrontation and pulling. The referee was at his wit's end. He was starting to miss Iniesta's words. But unfortunately, given how far the situation had developed, it was difficult for him to turn back. The referee showed Ronaldo a yellow card, believing his tackle was retaliatory. Gabi was completely unacceptable. Wasn't that a red card? Chapter 148. Just do it. The referee glanced at Gabi. By standard, Gabi should have received a yellow card, as he was the one who initiated the altercation. But the referee found a balance. His lenient whistle benefited both Portugal and Spain, who avoided numerous yellow cards. However, 3 minutes later, Spanish fans erupted in celebration. In the 79th minute, Arteta and Iniesta combined to reach the edge of the penalty area. Arteta's pass was deflected by Font, falling to Torres. Torres passed back to Gabi. The workhorse Gabi played a through ball. Iniesta broke the offside trap, sprinted forward, and, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, dribbled down the left flank and fired a low shot into the net. It was an incredibly close goal, full of luck. But Spain had scored. 2-1. They had taken the lead again. On the bench, Violante clutched his head. Guardiola in the stands smiled. That's football. Just because you plan everything doesn't mean things will turn out the way you want. Portugal made almost no mistakes in this match. Was their defense bad? Yes. But they conceded the first goal. It's illogical. Similarly, after Spain scored their first goal, given their style of play, it was almost impossible for them to concede. But Quaresma's outside of the foot shot blew the ball away, conceding a goal to the seemingly invincible Spain. This is equally illogical. And now, the Portuguese have resorted to fouling tactics, even provoking the Spanish players and causing them to lose their composure, making their passing and possession aggressive. This is a threat to the Spanish team, and the Portuguese have actually been slowly gaining the upper hand. However, Iniesta scored at this crucial moment. All 3 goals hit the bullseye for football enthusiasts. Football tactics are a complex system of technique and rationality. But often, the results are exactly the opposite. That's the charm of football. The first round of the 2022 World Cup group stage match between Portugal and Ghana is the ultimate manifestation of this contradiction. In the first half, Portugal's only truly threatening midfielder was Otavio. Portugal, struggling to break down defenses, desperately needed more players with Otavio's style, but the Portuguese coach instead substituted him with a slow, dark-skinned player. Technically speaking, this substitution was disastrous. Yet, less than a minute after the substitution, Portugal scored. It was absurd. And at that very moment, the Portuguese U16 team experienced a similar absurdity. They were seemingly closer to victory, but suddenly their fortunes reversed, thwarted by Iniesta's decisive strike. In the 81st minute, before they could even recover, Portugal was easily broken up again by Iniesta's dribbling and skillful passing. Arteta had the ball outside the penalty area, and it looked like another pass would send the ball into the box, with Torres likely one-on-one. At this crucial moment, Portugal's right back Bacingwa made an excellent defensive play. However, he also received a yellow card. Spain didn't strongly demand a yellow card for Bacingwa this time, because they were already in the lead. If the score remains tied, they will definitely surround the referee again. Iniesta took the free kick. His free kick technique is excellent. But perhaps Iniesta's touch was affected. The shot failed to clear the wall. Portuguese centre-back Font leaped high, selflessly shielding the shot with his face. Duarte cleared the ball immediately. And the referee stopped play. Font's nose was bleeding profusely. The team doctor rushed onto the field. After several tests, Font couldn't accurately identify the doctor's fingers. When they pointed at each other, Font even touched the doctor's face. This was a clear concussion, and Font couldn't continue. Virant substituted Angelo for Font and Amorim for left-back Ribeiro. Portugal switched from a 4-man defense to a 3-man defense, adding the versatile Amorim, hoping to challenge Spain in midfield and strengthen their attack. Because at the current score, Portugal was clearly going to lose. Amorim, Veloso, Duncan, Meireles, Lorenzo, and others pressed aggressively. Even Ronaldo and Quaresma dropped back to focus on pressing the Spanish midfield. From a tactical perspective, Portugal was in danger at this point, as they were completely drawn out by Spain. However, the problem was that Spain was facing intense pressure. Iniesta and other players showed signs of fatigue. While they could still control the ball, their reactions were slower, mostly resulting in back passes instead of capitalizing on Portugal's weaknesses. In the 83rd minute, Amorim made a tackle, and Duncan passed to Quaresma. Quaresma's volley went wide. His touch had cooled off after actively pressing. In the 85th minute, Iniesta found an opening and played a through ball to striker Gomez. Gomez, dropping back to receive the pass, turned and took a long-range shot, but it lacked quality and was easily caught by Vale. Vale didn't fall. Instead, he quickly launched a long ball over everyone and found Ronaldo on the left wing. Cristiano Ronaldo and Allegri were racing, with Ronaldo using a quick, deflecting motion to stop the ball more than 10 meters away before continuing the race. Allegri, slower than Ronaldo, eventually lost the ball. However, just as Ronaldo was about to catch up, he was met with a flying tackle from the side by Gabi. Gabi finally got his revenge. Ronaldo rolled repeatedly, his face contorted in pain. This foul caused the Portuguese players to lose their temper. Several players, including Deng Kai, rushed forward. The fastest runner, Lorenzo, knocked the rising Gabi flying. He was a substitute, and he had the energy. Gabi had just gotten up when Deng Kai charged again, his acceleration knocking Gabi down once more. Damn you! Taking advantage of Gabi's disorientation, Deng Kai gained the upper hands in the on-field conflict for the first time. The Spanish players, in support of Gabi, also joined the fray. Even the substitutes participated, pushing and shoving each other. The referee was also enraged. He became a card master, giving cards to whoever he could get his hands on. On the Portuguese side, Duncan, Lorenzo, and Amorim all received yellow cards. On the Spanish side, Gabi, who was brutally assaulted, also received a yellow card for his reckless tackle on Ronaldo. If he had retaliated, he might have received a red card, but the problem was that he was pushed and unable to fight back. Meanwhile, Spanish midfielder Arteta, and centre-backs Nani and Gonzalez also received yellow cards. The Spanish team promptly made substitutions, attempting to waste time. This caused extreme dissatisfaction among the Portuguese players. Chapter 149 The most scientific tactics, the unscientific score. Couldn't you just substitute them all at once? Why did you have to substitute Nani first, then Gonzalez? The 89th minute is almost over. There's still one Spanish player standing on the sidelines. They'll probably have to substitute someone else soon. And the situation on the field is even more frustrating. Duncan just had a long-range shot, but Reina saved it. After all that fuss, Reina didn't clear the ball. Instead, he passed it to a defender. The defender then passed it to Gabi. Gabi then dribbled the ball to the corner flag, clearly trying to waste time. Quaresma couldn't resist and rushed to take the ball from Gabi. But Gabi's physical strength was too much for Quaresma to handle. And it was clear that Gabi planned to pass the ball back if he couldn't hold on any longer, hoping to get a goal kick for Quaresma instead of a corner. As a team adept at passing the ball around to waste time, Spain clearly understands how to do it. You might think this method is dishonorable, but it's very effective. Bang! Under the watchful eyes of everyone, Gabi suddenly flew through the air. The linesman was dumbfounded. Everyone on and off the field was stunned. Portuguese defender Bisingwa, unable to tolerate Gabi's behavior any longer, kicked him in the backside from behind, sending him sprawling to the ground. Gabi himself was stunned. The referee showed Bisingwa a red card without hesitation. Bisingwa, head down, head towards the players' tunnel. Fuck football. I'm done. The Spanish players immediately rushed towards Bisingwa, but this time the Portuguese players stopped them. With the referee already showing the card and Iniesta urging his teammates to calm down and not give any more cards, the victory was already secured. The Portuguese players and fans expressed disappointment and regret over the result, but they strongly agreed with Bisingwa's flying kick. Deng Kai personally caught up with Bisingwa, patted him on the shoulder, and said, "We won't blame you, you were right." Bisingwa saw understanding in Deng Kai's eyes and was momentarily moved. "Did you want us to stop wasting time? Then those who need to leave, please hurry up and leave." Gabi, who had just been kicked, couldn't let this go. He came over and mocked him. Deng Kai looked at Gabi and whispered, "Gabi, I'm really angry right now." Gabi shrugged, as if to say, "Try it or leave." Meanwhile, regular time had ended. The match entered stoppage time. Because of too many conflicts, the stoppage time for this match lasted 7 minutes. The Spanish team got a free kick in their own half. This time, they didn't take any risks, but instead kicked the ball long across the halfway line. The Portuguese team controlled possession. The Spanish team started to camp. Soon the ball reached the front, but no Spanish player came up to press it. They only defended and didn't attack, turning their penalty area into an impenetrable wall. Meireles didn't find an opportunity and passed the ball to Deng Kai. Deng Kai picked up the ball and started spinning around. 1 circle, 2 circles, 3 circles. He could spin up to 3 circles at once. Anthony's little spinning top compass rotation looked simple, but it was difficult to do. At this moment, the Spanish fans on the sidelines booed. "You're about to lose. And you still have the nerve to show off your skills?" But the next moment, Deng Kai started spinning again. This time, he spun twice. The Portuguese fans were confused. Was Deng Kai planning to spin in place for the entire stoppage time? Even though they were down to 10 men and trailing 1-2, this kind of passive play was unacceptable. However, Deng Kai's behavior led some fans to speculate. Was he expressing his dissatisfaction with Spain's time-wasting, passing the ball style of football? Yes, that must be it. Passive football is harmful to the sport. It kills the passion and love of the fans. "Kaiser," a fan shouted Deng Kai's name. "Kaiser. Kaiser. Kaiser." The Portuguese fans chanted Deng Kai's name repeatedly. The Portuguese fans' behavior baffled the Spanish fans. But they were happy to see Deng Kai wasting their time like this. So Spanish fans chanted Deng Kai's nickname with taunts, "Kaiser. Kaiser. Kaiser." The final was held in the Strethoff Stadium, arguably the largest stadium in the Czech Republic and even the world, with a capacity of 220,000. Of course, a European U16 tournament wouldn't draw that many spectators. There were approximately 60,000 attendees today. Actually, I'm not Gomez, provided Deng Kai with 6 shot bonuses, the most expensive spinning top in football, provided Deng Kai with a 50% boost to his personal technical abilities for 35 seconds, along with the highest level of taunts. From a purely rational perspective, letting Deng Kai waste all the time spinning was extremely advantageous for the Spanish team. However, anyone who plays football should understand the feeling of being mocked and provoked on the field, even if the opponent is behind. Iniesta wanted to go up and make Deng Kai stop his damn spin. Who do you think you are? But Iniesta wasn't the kind of person to be easily angered. He allowed his championship trophy to have flaws. But Gabi couldn't. Gabi himself had a volatile temper. He'd lost to Deng Kai before. Today, he was thrashed by Ronaldo, and although he retaliated, he was immediately knocked down by Deng Kai. That grudge remained unsolved. Moreover, Gabi was kicked away by Bisingwa. Even though the opponent received a red card, it was the referee's punishment, not Gabi's own attempt to redeem himself. The day's humiliation was completely ignited by Deng Kai's provocative spin. Gabi charged at Deng Kai. Spain's ironclad defense revealed its only weakness. Bang! Bang! Deng Kai easily bypassed Gabi with a croquet-style pass. He had never felt this way before. It was as if he had simultaneously become Ronaldo and Messi. Bang! Without hesitation, from approximately 35 meters from the goal, Deng Kai unleashed a powerful shot with his right foot. A thunderous explosion. The ball pierced through Gabi's previous position, heading straight for the goal like a tomahawk missile. Reina swore he had never seen such a ferocious shot. He desperately tried to save it. He couldn't let Valdez on the bench look down on him. He had to conquer that challenger with his best performance. Bang! Reina touched the ball. But the next moment, the ball continued its momentum and went into the net. Goal! 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 Deng Kai. Deng Kai unleashed a stunning long-range shot, scoring 2-2. Portugal has pulled off a miraculous comeback, equalizing the score. Unscientific, everything today is so unscientific. Every team made the right decision, only to have their goal breached. Lately, to watch the World Cup, Peach has been sleeping at 3 a.m., waking up at noon, and watching the games from 6 p.m. onwards. She doesn't have much time to write. But she still insists on writing 10,000 words a day, not wanting to disappoint her readers. Although today's extra chapter is small, Peach really did her best. On one hand, it's to thank her readers for their support, and on the other hand, it's to celebrate Ronaldo's goal in the World Cup. Yesterday's match was basically within Peach's expectations, but unfortunately, some unexpected events occurred at the end, and they fell short. But it's okay. Today we'll make a serious prediction and let bygones be bygones. Tunisia drew with Australia, Poland may have had a slight advantage but ultimately drew with Saudi Arabia, France thrashed Denmark, Argentina drew with Mexico, with Argentina playing better overall, but Mexico being more efficient. Furthermore, in this World Cup, the qualitative gap between regional football and European football has narrowed, reflecting the improvement in global football standards. With Europe losing its initial advantage, Its only remaining advantage might be players coming from the same league and club, leading to better teamwork. This once again proves that the lie of racial discrimination, besides discrimination and suppression, has only served as an excuse for some. Chapter 150. Iniesta's winning move. Spain's defense is flawless, even Gabi's attack was merely a minor misstep. Who would have thought that this very mistake would become the path for Deng Kai's equalizer? Gabi's action was clearly aimed at a red card, but he didn't get one, nor did he stop Deng Kai. With only 2 or 3 minutes left, this will likely go into extra time. Oh. What happened to Reina? He seems to be in a lot of pain? The Spanish team doctor is coming onto the field. This inevitably brings to mind Deng Kai's devastating shot on the UEFA Youth League this season. Back then, the opposing goalkeeper saved Deng Kai's shot, but not only did he fail to prevent the goal, he also fractured his own hand. That's Deng Kai for you. His long-range shots aren't very consistent, but in crucial moments, you can always trust him. Substitute. Reina is being substituted. It seems Reina's hand isn't seriously injured, but he definitely has a sprained wrist or something. Bringing on Valdez is a safer choice. Valdez's goalkeeping ability is no less than Reina's. With him on the field, Spain's defense remains unaffected, making them the only team in this European U16 championship with 2 goalkeepers. Their depth and overall strength in that position are even greater than the Czech Republic's. Valdez has finished warming up. He came on as a substitute and conveyed some of the coach's instructions to the team. Spain should try to make a move in extra time. After all, for a stronger team, being dragged into a penalty shootout is essentially a loss. The ball was then kicked off. Spain, unusually aggressive, attempted a final attack before the match ended. However, their pass was intercepted by Veloso, who made a crucial defensive play. The Portuguese players rushed out, also aiming for a final attack. Only 1 minute remained. Veloso passed to Duncan, who then passed to the retreating Quaresma before making a forward run. Quaresma faced pressure and passed back to Veloso. Veloso, disregarding the pressure, launched a long ball towards the Spanish penalty area. Ronaldo and Lorenzo attacked the Spanish defense. Deng Kai made a run from behind, rushing past from the side, seemingly the most likely to receive the ball. But Gabi had been watching Deng Kai closely, following him all the way to the edge of the penalty area. He wouldn't let Deng Kai pass, no matter who else did. However, Gabi underestimated Deng Kai's stamina and speed at this stage. Gabi had participated in too many physical duels today. He was surprised to find himself struggling to keep up with Deng Kai. Deng Kai approached the edge of the penalty area, and the ball was about to land near the penalty line. At this distance, Valdez might not be able to reach the ball even if he rushed out. He clearly hadn't fully adapted to the pace of the game, and even his signature rushing out maneuver wasn't working. He was somewhat intimidated, clearly not as carefree as his expression suggested. In the crucial moment, Gabi could only deliver a flying kick to the departing Deng Kai. Yes, it was a standard martial arts move. Bruce Lee's style. Deng Kai felt a force on his back. But coincidentally, he was preparing to propel himself off the ground. Thus, this force became a propulsive force. Deng Kai pushed off with both legs and leaped into the air. Like a carp leaping over the Dragon Gate, he flew forward. At the same time, Valdez rushed out, throwing a punch at the ball, exactly like Superman's signature move. Bang! Bang! Deng Kai's head deflected the ball. Valdez's fist slammed into Deng Kai's head. The two collided, and the ball fell into the goal. After a long 3 seconds of silence, the entire Strathoff Stadium erupted in deafening cheers. Goal! 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 3-2. Deng Kai scores twice in 3 minutes, helping Portugal to a 3-2 victory over Spain. Invincible. Deng Kai is invincible. Caesar is back. Spain, treble. On screen, the Portuguese players excitedly rushed towards Deng Kai. But soon, their celebrations came to an abrupt halt. Because Deng Kai, left hand clutching his waist, right hand clutching his head, lay motionless on the grass. The screen continuously replayed Deng Kai's goal. Gabi's flying kick from behind almost perfectly replicated Basingwa's move. The referee immediately showed Gabi a red card, sending him off the field. Valdez's flying punch missed the ball and instead struck Deng Kai in the head, earning him a yellow card. Although he didn't intend to injure anyone, hitting someone was still wrong. And that punch seemed quite forceful. Of course, Valdez, struggling to his feet, was also wronged. He did punch Deng Kai, but his hand hurt too. Crucially, Deng Kai then rammed into him, delivering a powerful headbutt that nearly dislodged Valdez's internal organs. He was also a victim. Team doctor. Team doctor. Ronaldo quickly called for the team doctor. The team doctor examined Deng Kai and found mostly scuff injuries, nothing too serious. However, Deng Kai insisted on further examination. Finally, the team doctor brought in a stretcher. This back and forth caused considerable delays. After the stretcher arrived, Deng Kai said he could still walk, and with the team doctor's help, he slowly walked to the edge of the field. Immediately, applause erupted from the stands. Everyone was applauding him. Except for the Spanish fans. On the field, wasted time cannot always be recovered. Many players waste time because they waste 30 seconds, but the referee might only add 10 seconds later. Because pauses in the game are part of the match time and cannot be entirely considered a waste of time. After Spain restarted, Deng Kai returned to the field. The game was still not over. Spain had less than a minute left. Did everything seem secure? But both Guardiola and Trigueros would watch this youth team match again and again years later. Because this game was so educational. From beginning to end, both teams made the right choices but ended up with the wrong answers. What does it mean that football is round? This game truly showed that football is round. After kickoff, the Spanish team surprisingly played a fluid and skillful passing game. 20 to uninterrupted passes, they carried the ball from their own half to midfield. Any mistake by any player would have resulted in a goal. But the Spanish team was simply magical. Iniesta, as the key player, participated in 8 passes. And ultimately, the ball returned to his feet. At the edge of the penalty area, Iniesta received the ball. Unmarked. This was an opportunity to become a Spanish hero. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.